The exaggerated treatment method of Trafalgar Law once again refreshed the Big Daddy Pirate's understanding of this death surgeon. It turns out that he can really split a person in half and then slowly heal him. He is worthy of being an op fruit user with negative 4.9 billion belly. He is indeed very powerful. Damn it. You kid. Remove these chicken feet and combs from Lousy. Golden Lion Shiki, who was handcuffed behind his back by Seastone, was struggling on the deck and yelling angrily. Although his body is still weak, this insulting transplanted limb has touched his bottom line, which is related to his face. He is an arrogant world-class lion, not a rooster. Very good. Luo, Duque, your medical skills are very strong. Finally, you can save this old guy. Badgers, this old guy is still very angry. Please give me a higher purity Seastone chain immediately to tie him up. Remember, don't let go of these chicken feet. Don't expose the chicken feet, otherwise this guy will tear them off. You must know that this guy was a ruthless guy who personally broke his own feet at Impel Down more than 20 years ago. Dai praised his two doctors for finally successfully saving the lion fruit ability user. He also asked Bajas to add ingredients to the ruthless Golden Lion Shiki and make a Seastone meal. Golden Lion Shiki is such a ruthless character that he might even break his hands in order to be free, and then fly away. Never underestimate an old lion fighting for freedom. Therefore, binding Golden Lion Shiki with Seastone chains all over his body is the greatest respect for him. Yes, Captain. The fighting champion immediately said excitedly that he never expected that the legendary pirate Golden Lion Shiki would one day fall into their hands. In the beginning, he went to the recruitment meeting in order to become a member of the Thieves Leaders Association under Golden Lion, but he was beaten up in the end. Thinking about it now, I was really lucky to meet Captain Dai at that time. Otherwise, he might be a crew member of the affiliated pirate group who was thrown into the sea and become the loser. Captain Dai is a good captain for his whole life. This fool grinned widely and tied Golden Lion Shiki up like a rice dumpling. He even slapped Golden Lion on the comb with excitement and burst out laughing. Golden Lion Shiki was so angry that his face turned blue, and he wanted to kill this bastard Badgers with a knife. Big Bear, get out the camera phone and take a picture of Lousy and Golden Lion Shiki. Lousy wants to send it to the newspaper. Sonic Edrag immediately shouted excitedly. The last time he was robbed in the Seven Waters City, he was interviewed by a reporter from a small newspaper, and she also left a phone number. Not to mention, this time he also wants to be majestic. Even if it is not a large newspaper like World Economic News, it is enough to be famous as a headline in a small newspaper. Although he was not able to defeat Golden Lion Shiki, now he can just touch Golden Lion's comb and take pictures. I want to take pictures too. Ed Drago's behavior seems to have ignited the enthusiasm of the crew of the Big Daddy Pirates. There are not many opportunities to defeat the legendary pirate. This is the honor of their Big Daddy Pirates, and they must take photos as a souvenir. As for Golden Lion Shiki himself, he was so angry that his steel teeth almost broke into pieces, and he almost fainted from the anger. In this Namikaze atmosphere, even the aloof crew members such as Zoro, Luo, Crow, and Van Oka actually went to take a commemorative photo. Hey. That's almost enough. Go to the sea and capture the prisoners who are not dead yet. The corner of Dai's mouth twitched slightly. These playful guys now look nothing like a group of ferocious pirates who committed murder and set fire. Yes, Captain. The crew of the Big Daddy Pirates shouted excitedly that today they successfully defeated the Sky Pirates and captured the legendary pirate Golden Lion Shiki. This is a very exciting thing. Being famous across the ocean is a piece of cake. And those pirates who were shot down into the sea and are still alive today have such good luck that Dai doesn't mind sparing them a life. Either as a backup crew member or as Lily Carnation's food. Seeing Captain Dai's victory, the Guloside returned to the vicinity of the Guan Island again, no longer worried about being attacked by the Sky Island. The news of Golden Lion Shiki's defeat was being transmitted to various forces at a crazy speed. Naval Headquarters Marineford. Marine Marshal Sengoku couldn't believe the news when he saw this information. The Golden Lion Shiki that he and Garp needed to jointly capture back then actually ended his glorious life in the hands of newcomer Wang Daidu. It's really sad. Time is not forgiving. Buddha Sengoku still thinks that Golden Lion Shiki's defeat was due to a serious decline in strength and old age. After all, losing his legs and having a fatal rudder stuck in his head caused Golden Lion's strength to plummet. More than half. This kid seems to be growing up a little too fast. Marine hero Garp the Fist no longer acted carelessly. His eyes showed a little solemnity, thinking that Roger did not have such terrifying strength at this age. And seeing the end of another old rival, he also had the idea of getting old. The kid Dai also has the skin of 7 warlords of the sea, which allows him to develop and grow stably, so that Marine can't do anything to him. Otherwise, he didn't want to let this kind of pirate continue to grow. It is no longer helpful to explore the reasons for the defeat of Golden Lion Shiki. Dadier Babaya may take advantage of all the fame of Golden Lion Shiki and become a top pirate who shakes the sea. Moreover, the reputation of Golden Lion Shiki is based on the series of major events such as encircling and suppressing the pirate King Roger, destroying half of Marineford, fighting U2 Marine legends, and escaping from Impel Down. Dai Dai is likely to become the benchmark figure for the new generation of pirates. By then, many new pirates will take the initiative to follow this new king with unlimited potential. Vice Admiral, the Marine Chief of Staff, sounded a little worried. She didn't know that Dai Dai had an identity of 7 warlords of the sea, which would allow him to grow up safely. Just like Doflamingo back in the day. By now, she also understood the real reason why Dai Dai took the initiative to join the 7 warlords of the sea. If this continues, Dai Dai's Big Daddy pirates will definitely be more powerful and difficult for Yamato to deal with than Doflamingo's Don Quixote family. Now the CP organization has been suspecting that Dai Dai is planning the Pluton design, and has even vaguely wanted to take action against Dai Dai, but he has been undecided. After Dai Dai destroys Golden Lion Shiki's flying pirates this time, Dai Dai will be able to leave a positive image in front of the people. If the world government takes action now, it may have serious consequences. Buddha's Sengoku rubbed his brows and said that if there was no Golden Lion Shiki incident, he would be willing to send Marine Admiral to assist the CP organization to investigate the Big Daddy pirates and teach this lawless evil dog a lesson. What now? Crane Vice Admiral is also a little helpless. World governments are always so indecisive. If they had been more decisive back then, Doflamingo would have been impeded by her long ago. Why did he leave such a big hidden danger? However, now that the world government has purchased seastone in large quantities in the underground dark world through Doflamingo, an industrial chain has been formed, and now it is even more difficult to shake 7 warlords of the sea, which has the background of the original celestial dragons. Moreover, if marine warships are to be fully upgraded to seastone warships and become the trump card across the Com Belt, seastone and the dark intermediary Doflamingo are indispensable. World government and Doflamingo have many entangled interests, and naval headquarters cannot do anything to the arrogant Doflamingo. Doflamingo, the original celestial dragons, still dares to call Marine Admiral a dog. I don't know if Golden Lion Shiki is dead. It's best to bring him over. After all, Lion Fruit is very capable. Now Dr. Vegapunk has been able to reproduce the abilities of Paramecia Devil Fruit, and this Lion Fruit is very good. A bright light flashed in Buddha Sengoku's glasses, and now the genetic bloodline of the 7 warlords of the sea has a backup in Dr. Vegapunk. Those Paramecia Devil Fruit abilities have been copied and the Seraph plan is being completed. Paramecia Sweet Fruit, Paramecia Meatball Fruit. These powerful Devil Fruit abilities have been successfully reproduced in the first place. Speaking of which, it seems that Dai Dai, the new 7 warlords of the sea, has not yet come to naval headquarters to donate his genetic blood, and his barrier fruit happens to be a Paramecia ability. It seems that we need to find an opportunity for Dai Dai to come to naval headquarters to collect bloodline genes. Dai Dillion is not even willing to hand over Crocodile. Do you think he will hand over Golden Lion Shiki? Don't forget, Dai Dai could accidentally kill a Door Fruit user in the CP9 team last time. I suspect this guy may also be researching technology to recycle Devil Fruit. Or maybe he wants to conquer these powerful demon fruit powers for his own use. Crane Vice Admiral took the word accidentally very seriously. She had long suspected that this gate fruit ability user was not dead, but that Dai Duo had taken a fancy to this rare space ability. When she saw the shape memory alloy in the short-term rejuvenation potion sold by the Big Daddy pirates, she knew that the island ship had its own research team, and its capabilities were quite high. It is normal for an ambitious person like Dai Dai to try to research the recovery of Devil Fruit's abilities. Then what else can we do now? If the island ship is renovated, it will probably disappear on the sea again. It will be difficult for us to find an island ship that is constantly moving. Buddha's Sengoku has a headache. Each of these 7 warlords of the sea is a thorn in his side, causing him trouble. This Dai Dai is also related to the Pluton design that the world government has been paying close attention to, which makes it even more troublesome. However, now that the Big Daddy pirates have wiped out the Sky Pirates and most of their affiliated pirate groups, they have done a little good. Otherwise, naval headquarters will now unite with the CP organization to take action against Dai Dui. What can we do? We should ask Dai Dui as a routine and ask him to hand over the pirates and give him a commendation. Staff officer, he also said a bit arrogantly, the 7 warlords of the sea actually belong to the world government, and their naval headquarters is in the way, which is not pleasant at all. Buddha's Sengoku could only do this, but he still informed Dai Di to come to naval headquarters to donate blood. Then at Marine's base camp, he would put some pressure and lessons on Dai Di, the new king. Before naval headquarters and Morgan's World Economic News reported it, these 4 emperors actually did not collect intelligence that quickly. Their intelligence organization is much worse than that of the world government in the underground dark world. On an island somewhere in the New World. Big news. Morgan's is excited again. The last time Dai Di and Golden Lion Shiki were tied, the world was already in an uproar. This time Dai Di directly destroyed the Golden Lion Shiki and the Flying Pirates, so tomorrow's newspaper will be sold out. Work overtime to write for me. I will send the news out as soon as possible. Morgan's laughed excitedly, but he would occasionally sigh. It would be great if Dai Di was not the 7 warlords of the sea, otherwise he would have to support a 5th emperor no matter what. New World Dressrosa. Doflamingo has also obtained some information about the war on the island, but this information did not come from Monet the Snow Girl, but came from other channels. The Snow Girl Monet has not conveyed information to him for many days, but he trusts Monet very much. This subordinate will never betray him. He believes in his brainwashing, and Monet's sister Sugar is still in Dressrosa. Now there may be some minor problem with Monet that prevented the information from being sent out in time. After all, Monet had already sent a message before that she had successfully joined the Big Daddy Pirates. However, when Doflamingo saw this brief emergency information, he couldn't believe his eyes. The Big Daddy Pirates actually killed Golden Lion Shiki's flying pirates. How can it be? Doflamingo directly crushed this information, and his crazy aura was erupting. Is Dai Di already that strong? Why didn't Monet send any news about this urgent information? Has Monet been exposed? Then, I might want to re-examine my cooperative relationship with Dai Di. Just treat Dai Di as one of the 4 emperors and give him maximum benefit concessions. Grand Line's Mechanism Island. The prisoners of the Sky Pirates have been captured. These lucky ones who survived, after being rescued by the Big Daddy Pirates, immediately burst into tears and begged for mercy. They wanted to join the Big Daddy Pirates on the spot and decisively abandoned them. Golden Lion Shiki is a loser. On the Galosiadi, there was a girl with green hair. Although she had a smile on her face, there was a little more anxiety in her eyes. I don't know why, but this Nico Robin has been following her these days, even sleeping in the same room, and the Captain Dai Di has always wanted to sneak into her. As a result, she either stayed with Robin at night, or sacrificed herself and Dai Di to eat ice cream, leaving her no chance to even make a phone call quietly. Especially after seeing Trafalgar Law, the op-op fruit ability user, join the Big Daddy Pirates, she was even more eager to tell Doflamingo, but she never had the chance to pass on the information. Now she has no time to report even the important information that the Big Daddy Pirates defeated Golden Lion Shiki. This Nico Robin seems to be poisonous and keeps clinging to her chatting. After Dai Di boarded the ship in Trafalgar Law, he already wanted to capture this Snow fruit spy. However, the kind and honest Dai Di still tried hard to sleep with this beautiful spy. But obviously not, even if Dai Di has eaten this green tea flavored ice cream, the heart of this ice cream still belongs to the Don Quixote family. Then Dai Di could only choose to have a private prisoner. After all, he had already eaten the cake. After capturing Golden Lion Shiki, this plan became even clearer. Because the next plan has entered the core part, at this critical moment, Dai Di has no time to play hide and seek with the female spy and risk the leakage of intelligence. After dealing with the affairs of the Flying Pirates, the Big Daddy Pirates started a grand banquet on the Gulosiadi. At this happy moment, Dai Di walked towards the Snow Girl Monet who had been chatting with Nico Robin. With Robin's smile, he took Monet into the captain's dormitory. Monet, the Snow Girl, thought that Dai Di wanted to eat ice cream in broad daylight, and she immediately showed a charming look that admired Dai Di. She also pretended to be happy and slowly opened the outer packaging, revealing the fresh and cold white ice cream. But this time, what greeted her was not the rain and dew, but a pair of sea-stone handcuffs. Monet looked at the sea-stone handcuffs on Dai Dui's hands in horror. Monet, in fact, you can have a better life. You don't need to wear a mask anymore. Just be obedient from now on. Leave everything to me. Dai Di hugged the soft and cool ice cream that had fallen down and whispered. Then in front of Monet, he found the phone bug she had hidden and crushed it. Monet, who was wearing sea-stone handcuffs, looked pale and weak. She couldn't figure out when she was exposed. It was obvious that she had sacrificed her ice cream beauty to successfully capture Dai Di's heart and become a close woman with a negative distance. Dai Di's attitude has been very good recently, which made her feel a little emotional and almost emotional. The result was still exposed. Dad, have you misunderstood? That was just a phone bug when I was a mercenary. Even though Monet, the snow girl, was completely weak, she still looked pitiful. Even at this time, she still wanted to struggle. She couldn't fail, she had sacrificed so much, and she would never give up until the last moment. And she will never betray the young master, because it was Doflamingo who saved her and her sister Sugar, and now Sugar is always by the young master's side. Whether it was to repay the young master for saving her life, or to express her admiration for the young master, and finally for the safety of her sister Sugar, she would rather commit suicide than reveal any information about the young master. Monet, I know who you are, but you should just pretend that you were discovered by me and then killed. From now on, I will live here honestly and be my cold pillow. I don't need to report to Doflamingo. If you are worried about your sister's safety, I will find a way to snatch her away in the future. Dai hugged the snow girl Monet on the bed. Seeing the limp Monet, Dai shook his head a little. This was already the purest sea stone handcuff, and he didn't expect to lose so much strength. Now Diedo can directly use this low-purity sea stone handcuffs. In addition to being unable to use the barrier fruit, he will hardly lose strength. You actually know my origins. When was I exposed? When she heard Doflamingo's name, the snow girl Monet knew that she had been exposed. There was no chance at all. She kept reviewing in her mind how her identity was exposed. It seems that I have never said the name Doflamingo. Even in the previous phone calls, I used the code name. Even if Dai suspected that he was a spy, he shouldn't have pinpointed Doflamingo. Couldn't he be a spy for other forces? Just think that you have the devil fruit ability to see through people's hearts and have a good rest. Dai smiled softly, then left the captain's quarters and went outside to celebrate the victory banquet with his crew. Dazaya and Nami didn't expect Dai to be so fast this time, and they all showed weird smiles. It seemed that they could fill the gap. Nico Robin looked at Dai with a faint smile. I didn't expect that you would also fail. This spy was not conquered by you in the end. Robin firmly believed that Dai was a person from the future, but she also knew that the captain seemed unable to change everything. Her existence is irrelevant. Dai smiled softly and hugged the bunch of purple grapes. He couldn't eat green tea ice cream today, but there were still many flavors to enjoy. Nami, a lively orange, and Dazaya, a red apple, were also bouncing and walking towards Dai, celebrating with Dai the joy of defeating the legendary pirate. Drinking party. Zoro, Badgers, Edrago, Iron Bear, these guys are drinking rum in a big bottle. As for Lafitte, Luo, Crow, and Van Oka, these smart and shady guys were drinking red wine, and the topics of conversation were either working on the 7 warlords of the sea, or thinking about taking down the 4 emperors. The remnants of the walled pirate ship also joined the banquet, having a drink with the crew members of Big Daddy's work company and the Heart Pirates, trying to integrate into the big ship Guro Siati. The banquet lasted until early in the morning, and Dai had already gone back to play mahjong with purple grapes, oranges, apples, and mugwort pies, and the game was crackling. No way, he was very excited to defeat Golden Lion Shiki. When I get excited, my interest will be extremely high and I will fight until dawn. The next morning. The World Economic News Service's newspapers are spread all over the world, Grand Line, and New World. A generation of legendary pirates comes to an end, and a new legend is born. Big Daddy Babaya completely defeated the Golden Lion Shiki, and the Sky Pirates became history. Golden Lion Shiki, who competed with Pirate King Roger and Whitebeard Newgate, was defeated by a newcomer. Are all the newcomers that strong now? What's so arrogant about killing the remnants of an era? Times are starting to change. All the big pirates and rookie pirates have seen today's newspapers. The veteran pirates are afraid of the strength of Big Daddy Babaya, while some newcomers can't wait to get ahead by stepping on Dai's reputation. In 4 Emperors, Whitebeard is sighing, Big Mom is laughing wildly, Beasts are furious, and Redhead is having a banquet. In 7 Warlords of the Sea, Doflamingo is worried, Gecko Moria is indifferent, Hawkeye is interested, the Pirate Queen is ignoring, Sea Knight Jinbei is inquiring, and Bartholomew Bear is wondering. What is the mark on that island ship? Disappeared. In the Revolutionary Army, the danger level for the Big Daddy Pirates has been increased. Do not provoke this pirate group unless necessary. In Supernova and Rookie Pirates, Captain Eustace Kidd, with his deputy Kira, went from the 2nd route directly to the 4th route where the Big Daddy Pirates were, full of murderous intent and high spirits. As for Hawkins, he gave himself a divination and decided to stay away from the Big Daddy Pirates. Inside the Seastone prison of the Gulosiati. When Crocodile saw that even the legendary pirate Golden Lion Shiki was captured alive, his pupils trembled and his heart was filled with shock. Has Dai's strength reached this level now? Even Golden Lion Shiki, who has the power of lion fruit, can be captured. Are you a crocodile kid? Golden Lion Shiki saw this busty woman with seastone chains on her feet, hands and neck. After observing her carefully for a while, she recognized the original 7 warlords of the sea. After dying, this sand crocodile turned into a woman? Golden Lion Shiki swallowed his saliva, and he felt his little ancestor shudder. He thought about his comb head and looked at his chicken feet. At this moment, he suddenly felt that the combs and feet were not unacceptable. If he turned into a woman like Sand Crocodile, he would definitely go crazy. He would rather commit suicide immediately and die than become a bitch. The majesty of the Golden Lion must not be tarnished. You were actually defeated by Dai Dai. Crocodile came out with a magnetic voice, but her voice was a little weak. It seemed that she had suffered both physical and mental torture. It's really you. Are you actually a woman? Or was it turned into this by demon fruit power? Golden Lion Shiki struggled with the sea stone chain on his body and moved to the sea stone railing of the prison, getting closer to the sand crocodile, hoping to get some information. Crocodile trembled angrily, then closed his eyes and turned aside silently, not wanting to continue this shameful topic. The kid Dai Dai actually has this kind of demon fruit power under his command? Golden Lion Shiki's face was also a little pale. He was a little panicked when he remembered that he had just been forced to take pictures by the dog crew of the Big Daddy Pirates. If it turns out to be a woman taking pictures and then spreading it around, it's okay not to have this face. He has no face to live in this world anymore. At this time, a woman with long earrings was brought back to Sea Stone Prison. This guy also had a look of despair on his face. Dai Dai. Then you miscellaneous cultivator. I will definitely kill you with thunder. Enel, who was tied up with sea stone chains all over his body, was still yelling curses after being thrown back to Sea Stone Prison, but the female voice was weak and had no deterrent effect at all. Thunder? Little girl, does your devil fruit ability use thunder and lightning? Golden Lion Shiki saw that Crocodile was not interested in him, so he turned his attention to this new little guy. Seeing such an exaggerated sea stone binding method, there is no doubt that he is a capable person. Ant Cockhead. What are you calling a dog? This god is the god of thunder, and Lousy is a man. Lousy must use thousands of thunders to blast you Qinghai people to death. Annie Lousy cursed and shouted at the old man Golden Lion. The 2 white headlights were shaking, and the little fabric was almost unable to hold up. God? Where did you come from, a bumpkin? Even if you are a thunder fruit user, you are not qualified to call yourself a god in front of me. Golden Lion Shiki, the arrogant old lion, suddenly became violent and kept struggling, trying to move over and kill the rude little guy. Who is this kid? How dare he talk to a legendary pirate like this? If he hadn't been covered in sea stone chains, he would have killed this little bastard. I think back in Impelled Down, Marine was just a piece of trash. He just put sea stone shackles on his legs, and he immediately killed all the other big pirate prisoners in the same cell. Because these big pirates don't deserve to be locked up in the same prison as him. What is the identity of his Golden Lion Shiki, and what are the identities of these big pirates? Even though he was restrained by sea stone shackles, he could still retain some of his strength, but he just couldn't use Lion Fruit's ability. Later, he even tore off his 2 feet, got rid of the sea stone anklets, and successfully escaped from Impelled Down. That guy is the Logia Thunder Fruit user. At this time, Croc Dowsy spoke. Looking at Annie Louzy's graceful figure, a sense of shame rose again. Both of them were turned into women and suffered both physical and mental torture. It left them with an indelible shame in their lives. I didn't expect that there would be 2 top-notch Logia demon fruit powers in Dai Dai's small prison. What on earth does he want to do? Golden Lion Shiki said, a little shocked. Whether it is Logia sand fruit or thunder fruit, if it is taken to the sea, it is a top-notch ability. But the next moment, Golden Lion Shiki's expression suddenly changed. If he was like these 2 guys and refused to surrender, would he also become a woman? As soon as this thought came to his mind, his face began to turn pale. Remember again the enthusiasm of the Big Daddy Pirates for taking photos. Golden Lion Shiki feels like he may be out of luck. What a vicious Dai Dai. I am the god of thunder. You Qinghai ants will not die in peace. Annie Lousy not only hated Dai Dai, but also hated these Qinghai people. He wanted to kill them all, just like he destroyed his hometown of Burka and massacred everyone. Kid. Stop talking about God all the time, it's so disgusting. If I have less than half the sea stone on my body, I will kill you. Golden Lion Shiki also looked at this bumpkin spitting shit in displeasure, wondering if this guy was an ignorant person from some isolated island. However, Golden Lion Shiki felt his scalp numb when he thought of his current situation. He must not become a woman, otherwise he would rather commit suicide now. Come if you have the guts. Just when Annie Lousy was about to yell back, a burst of gas appeared, and the 3 people suddenly became weak, and they didn't even have much energy to speak. What's the fuss about? Just calm down for a while. Devil Sheriff Lafitte, with a smile on his face, came in to stop the quarrel between Golden Lion Shaki and Enel, allowing them to save a little energy and recover their injuries and physical strength. Especially Ani Luzi will have to recharge Arc Proverbs in the next 2 days, and now he needs to take a good rest. Shinigami Poison Q also came in. He gave the 3 of them some nutritional potions, not only to ensure their lives, but also to restore their bodies. Captain Dai Dai attaches great importance to the devil fruit abilities of the 3 of them. Although Du Q didn't know what Dai Dai was going to do, he could guess that Dai Dai was trying to steal the devil fruit abilities from these 3 people. These 3 guys refused to surrender, and Dai Dai didn't bother to subdue them. He just kept raising them, obviously for his own purpose. Everyone has powerful devil fruit abilities. How great it would be if I had your abilities. Lafitte looked at these 3 powerful captives and said with a fake smile, but he now has the devil fruit ability. Even if Captain Dai Dai could seize the devil fruit abilities of these 3 people, he would not be lucky enough to enjoy them. After the battle between the Big Daddy Pirates and Golden Lion Shaki, under Dai Dai's order, they went all out to build the island ship Gulosiati and did not continue to hunt for supernovae, which greatly accelerated their construction speed. The remaining supernovas and rookie pirates are not necessary targets for Dai Dai. Even if he is not hunting them now, he will still have plenty of opportunities to take action later in the Sabodi archipelago. Now, Dai Dai wants to complete the construction of the Gulosiati and disappear into the fixed position of the machine island. He can clearly feel that the number of CP spies in the world government has increased. Fortunately, Lily Carnation has implemented island-wide monitoring of the island ship, otherwise the spies would really have sneaked in. The human skin camouflage technology of these agents is really very powerful. Let the workers who work together day and night not notice that their co-workers have been replaced. After all, even if the headquarters of the economic news agency of Lien Da News Morgans frequently changes location, there are still world government agents lurking there. The most crucial point is that Firefist Ace and Blackbeard Teach finally entered the Grand Line. Dai Dai is not only paying attention to these 2 guys through Morgans in the underground world, but also constantly learning about their whereabouts through the intelligence from Naval Headquarters. Based on the lessons learned from the last robbery, Naval Headquarters has given Dai Dai great authority in terms of intelligence. Of course, this information is limited to the whereabouts of the pirates, allowing the Big Daddy Pirates to help annihilate other pirates. After Dai Dai's battle with Golden Lion Shaki, he didn't even have time to go to Drum Island to capture Chopper and Dr. Kaleha. He is devoted to practicing Conqueror's Hockey, and his heart is extremely eager to successfully master Conqueror's Hockey. He worked hard to consolidate his gains and experience in the Golden Lion Shaki battle. He even went to the prison to consult the prisoner Golden Lion Shaki. Originally, this old lion had some ideas to leave his legacy behind, but after becoming a prisoner, he was not willing to continue teaching Dai Dai, a bastard. But under the threat of turning into a woman, Golden Lion Shaki became silent, compromised, and accepted her fate. Because Crocodile and Enel's graceful headlights remind him all the time that a lifetime of fame may be just a thought away from him. He doesn't want his cross-dressing photo to appear on the news headlines the next day. In this way, Golden Lion Shaki, who did not want to lose his job and die in society, passed on all his life experience to Dai Dai. In addition to Conqueror's Hockey, he even handed over the Lion Twin sword style. The swordsman Roronoa Zoro has received a lot of references in the Lion Double sword style. His move Lion Song and the 3 sword style sword technique have been greatly improved. This swordsmanship style is not much worse than Mihawk's Black Yoruichi sword style. This also allowed Zoro to start his 2-year training plan ahead of schedule. He must thoroughly digest the legendary pirate Golden Lion Shiki's lion-style swordsmanship, and be promoted from a swordsman to a great swordsman as soon as possible. Only by becoming a great swordsman can one be qualified to compete with Mihawk for the position of the world's greatest swordsman. Now the more he comes into contact with these top combat powers, the more Zoro realizes his own weakness. Sure enough, it is impossible to become the world's greatest swordsman by shouting slogans. For his dream and that promise, he must continue to strengthen, even if he works 100 times harder. Zoro, this guy, has always insisted on practicing next to Dai Dai, because the pressure brought by Dai Dai when practicing Conqueror's Hockey made his training progress faster. The other crew members have already begun to practice Marine 6 styles, choosing their favorite moves to practice. Even top training methods such as Hikoku Waiguo and Lion Dual Sword style are publicly available among the cadres of the Big Daddy Pirates. I am not afraid that you will learn, but I am afraid that you will not be able to learn. Dr. Indigo, the ship's doctor and scientist of the Sky Pirates, actually survived and was successfully captured by the Big Daddy Pirates. Sure enough, under Zoro's sword, he was only chopped down and rarely killed on the spot. But Scarado, the gorilla who controlled the monster, was really killed by the Big Daddy pirates. After getting the permanent pointer to the Flying Sky Island group, Dai Dai planned to harvest their properties after a while. He would first loot them and then deprive Lion Fruit of his ability. The technology there is still worth plundering. Otherwise, if the Golden Lion Shiki's Lion Fruit ability is deprived first, these Flying Sky Islands will lose their Lion Fruit ability and fall into the sea, becoming worthless ruins. After more than half a month of consolidating his strength, Dai Dai finally improved his strength again. After stabilizing, he was ready to implement his plan again. The island ship Gulosiadi has also been almost renovated and can set sail again to meet the waves of the sea in the new era. In the captain's office of Arc Proverbs, a man full of hockey was talking with a phone bug. Gahaha. Captain Dai Dai, is this money well spent? I send special tracking seagulls every day to track down information about Fire Fist Ace, and of course, the fat black guy you highlighted. Big News Morgan's duck-voiced voice came out among the phone bugs, his mouth full of excitement. He felt that Dai Dai, the 7 warlords of the sea, might take action against Fire Fist Ace, the captain of Whitebeard's 2nd Division. This was huge news. Did Dai Dai, after defeating Golden Lion Shiki, dare to challenge the Whitebeard pirates? Everyone on the sea knows that Whitebeard Newgate's protective character, provoking Fire Fist Ace, is tantamount to provoking the entire Whitebeard pirate group. Dai Dai, can he really withstand Whitebeard's revenge? However, this has nothing to do with Morgan's. Because he only wants big news, whether it is 4 emperors or 7 warlords of the sea, whoever dies is big news and can make him a lot of money. Morgan's. 10 million Baileys a day, and you just give me this little bit of information? In the past half-month, you have already collected 150 million belly from me. However, forget all this. Starting from tomorrow, find a way to hand over the information about this fat black man to Fire Fist Ace as soon as possible. Tell me when they are less than an island apart, and then find someone to delay this fat black man. In short, the two of them must meet. Dai Dai's cold voice reached Morgan's ears, and there seemed to be a little bit of displeasure in his tone. Gahaha. No problem, I will definitely find a way for Fire Fist Ace to intercept this fat black man. Captain Dai Dui will also be there by then, right? Even though he was a little dissatisfied with Dai Dai's tone at the ridiculously high price, Morgan's didn't care at all and didn't even think about lowering the price. He just wants to take advantage of the rich, and what matters is that you and I are willing to be cheated by him. There is no way, who knows that Dai Dai has needs, and Morgan's has the means. Morgause also worked hard to facilitate the collision between Dai Dai, the 7 warlords of the sea, and Fire Fist Ace, the captain of Whitebeard's 2nd Division. Otherwise, why would he get big news reports? As for the fat black guy, an unknown guy with 0 bounty, there is nothing noteworthy about him. However, this guy seems to have assassinated Saki, the captain of the 4th Division of the Whitebeard Pirates, and he doesn't know what happened. There seems to be some news above that you can dig into. At that time, you can add a little plot of 8 trigrams to the newspaper, why this Whitebeard crew member assassinated the captain and escaped from the big tree of 4 emperors. Whether it is a latent vendetta or a love killing caused by homosexuality, you can write it in random, as long as it has a gimmick. In the end, Dai Dai also gave a salary and asked Morgan's to hire several more bounty hunters or pirates in the underground dark world to intercept and delay Fatty Black and destroy his pirate ship until Fire Fist Ace catches up to him. After Morgan's heard that Dai Dai would personally participate in the battle between the 2 Whitebeard crew members, he immediately agreed to Dai Dai's other requests and even sold Dai Dai other secret information. Now Morgan's can't wait to see the 7 warlords of the sea, Big Daddy Babaya, and the captain of Whitebeard's 2nd Division, Fire Fist Ace, have a collision battle. This is definitely big news, and no matter who kills whom, it will cause tremors in the sea. And he is more optimistic about the new King Dai Dai. After all, Dai Dai still has the prestige of defeating Golden Lion Shiki. If it could lead to a war between the 7 warlords of the sea and the 4 emperors, would Morgan's news agency still be short of big news? After Dai Dai Guy got rid of Morgan's phone bug, he walked out of his office and appeared on the bow of the Arc Proverbs. He flew to the center of the island ship Gulosiadi and flew vertically above the huge rhizome of the flower of life and death. He stood at the highest point, looked at the sea, and clenched his fists in the air. This feeling of controlling other people's destiny was so fascinating. Fire Fist Ace, Blackbeard teach, you can't escape my grasp. While they haven't met yet, go get the secret recipe for blue wave balls from Chopper's hand, and then go directly to them. If you're on the way, fly to the Sky Island group to plunder the Golden Lion Shiki's territory and get the SIQ evolution potion. Dai Dai quickly made a plan. It was time to leave the Mechanism Island. This location had been exposed for too long and was a bit of a hidden danger to the Big Daddy pirates. Master, I actually have an idea, can I tell it? Suddenly, Lily Carnation's voice came over, with a hint of longing in her tone, which made Dai stop giving orders to prepare to set sail. Tell me the story. Dai looked at the little yellow flower and wondered what other suggestions it had. Didn't it want to leave the body of Baron Carnival and not host Blackbeard? Master, I have noticed the vitality under the island. This is a large sleeping island turtle. Master, after boarding that goal and completing the mission, can I board this island turtle? In the future, if I move the Gulosayati to the island turtle, I can control it to swim anywhere. It's definitely faster than the Gulosayati. Lily Carnation's little eyes were filled with the desire to move freely. Now the power of the Gulosayati comes from the large propeller built by Gairam. However, the current power to push such a large island ship is still not enough, and the speed is about the same as that of a normal sailing ship. Do you want to control this island turtle? Dai's eyes moved. At most, he only thought about using Rajat's mechanical giant to control the island turtle and then destroy Marineford as a disposable tool. I never thought about controlling this island turtle forever. The legendary island Zo Island is constantly moving with the giant elephant on the elephant owner's back, but the fur tribe cannot control the elephant owner's walking direction. There is also the Golden Island Tezzolo. Dai doesn't know what method he used, but he actually controlled two giant turtles comparable to sea kings, pulling the 10,000-meter-long Golden Island ship Gulen Tezzolo forward. Two Sea Kings-level giant turtles measuring thousands of meters have already made many countries and forces fear this Golden Emperor. What's more, Gilder Tetzolo is also the Emperor of Underground Darkness and is protected by the world government. He doesn't need to give face to Charlotte Linlin to attend the so-called Tea Party in Toto Land. His power and connections are even more exaggerated than Doflamingo. If you have money, power, and strength, you are so willful. Dai thought for a while, and it seemed that there would be no benefit in hitting Marineford with the island turtle. It would be knocked down by Whitebeard anyway. It's better to control the island turtle and take down all the impels. Because the impel down is in the calm belt, and the island where the lion fruit floats is impossible to cross the calm belt without wind and strong power. Golden Lion Shaki also has only one Golden Lion battleship, which has part of its own power. Normally, this Lion battleship also relies on wind power to move forward. Yes, Master. Lily Carnation said seriously that it really wanted to gain its own mobility. Then when the Gulosayati flies into the sky, you can transplant it onto the island turtle. Dai thought for half a minute and finally made this decision. He wanted to build a war fortress in the sky and on the sea at the same time. He could not put all his wealth in one basket. Moreover, it seems that he has an extra base that can conquer the fishmen. With this island turtle, he can conquer at least tens of thousands of fishmen and form his own underwater army. Thank you, Master. Lily Carnation said excitedly that if it could swallow the island turtle, it might be able to regrow its body. But it still wants to control the island turtle and move around freely. The parasitic island turtle needs the help of the Big Daddy pirates. Whether it is the imprisonment of the scientist Rajat or the poisoning of Poison Q, it can weaken the island turtle's ability to resist. Give it enough time to colonize the island turtle. As the people from the Guan Island and the iceberg people from the capital of Seven Waters left the Gulosayati, the modified island ship began to restart and leave the Guan Island. This time Dai did not break his promise and released Iron Man Frankie and returned him to Bingshan. Who are these two guys? Not only did they work hard to rebuild the island ship for Dai, but they also helped the Big Daddy pirates to build a Baomu Adam pirate ship auxiliary ship. However, Dai was also playing another game of chess. He already knew that CP9 had returned to the capital of Seven Waters to lurk. At that time, he can step in again and take more advantage. Anyway, Dai's time as Seven Warlords of the Sea is running out. No need to say anything else, just let it disappear if there are some secrets. However, you should be careful when you return to the Seven Waters City, the world government will not let you go. When you are desperate, you can consider taking refuge with us. Dai ignored Iron Man Frankie's angry eyes and said to the iceberg with a smile. Frankie's appearance had already completely changed. Under the transformation of Munch Fruit Wapple and Op Fruit Trafalgar Law, he became countless times more handsome. It's more effective than getting a handsome punch or going to the Great Cold for plastic surgery. Even if Frankie doesn't want to wear pants, he is still a pervert. But now it's a handsome pervert. There was no commotion or fighting, and the Gulosayati quickly left the waters of Guan Island and disappeared into the sea. As for the island turtle on Guanji Island, let Lily Carnation deal with it after Blackbeard Teach is dealt with. Now this island ship has 3 huge gun ports, and there is a huge cannon in each direction, and the firepower is very fierce. I dare not say that one cannon can build an island, but it is still very easy to do one cannon and several ships. The wooden port marked by Bartholomew Bear has been completely destroyed and is now transformed into a mechanically automated steel port. Huge gates, various mechanical arms, everything. There are even automatic counterattack artillery and mechanical musketeers in the defense zone on the edge of the island. There is already a prototype of a large war fortress, which is stronger than a marine fortress in the Grand Line. The 3 auxiliary ships of the large diving raiding ship, the White Iron King, the Polar Submarine, and the Tamaki Atom pirate ship, are docked in the steel ports on the left and right sides. The parking area of the Golden Spaceship Ark Proverbs is still on the high ground in the center of the island ship. It has also been turned into a mechanical lift, ready to take off at any time. As for the dreadnought battleship Sabre, it is still on Sky Island and has not come down. It is almost idle. The disappearance of the Big Daddy pirates caused the world government to immediately launch an operation against the mayor of the Seven Waters city, Iceberg. Don't let go of any clues and information from Pluton's design drawings. And this guy Bingshan is also a straight-headed guy. He actually dares to go back to the capital of Seven Rivers and continue to serve as his mayor, without fear of the investigation by CP agents. However, he has sent Iron Man Frankie out of his team and asked Frankie to go to the sea by himself and not have anything to do with him. For Tom's dream, the two of them still want to continue to protect and develop the shipbuilding island of Seven Waters. The Lord of the Machine Island, the genius mechanic Rajat, immediately continued his transformation of the Machine City after the Big Daddy pirates left. He wanted to complete the final transformation before the island turtle woke up and completely control the island. Turtle action. Aboard the Galosiadi, every crew member started intensive training again. After Trafalgar Law obtained the two-color hockey's training method, his desperate energy was already comparable to that of the green algae head Zorro. Under the training of Dai Dai, he continued to develop his op-op fruit ability, and he also frantically squeezed out his personal time to practice the two-color hockey. Golden Lion Shiki's lion double sword style swordsmanship is really helpful to Zorro, because he only uses the 3 sword style when he is serious, and usually uses the 2 sword style more often. When Dai Dai was practicing Conqueror's hockey, all the cadres of the Big Daddy pirates had to train under Dai Dai's Conquerors to improve Conqueror's resistance. The closer you are to Dai Dai, the longer you persist, which proves your strength and courage are stronger. This is also one of the criteria that determines your status in the Big Daddy pirates. 2 days later. Drum Island. This time, in order to prevent the witch doctor Kaleha from slipping away in advance again, Dai Dai directly used the Ark's Proverbs to raid the Drum Palace located on the huge mountain in the air. The golden spaceship has just landed on the Drum Palace. The 139-year-old witch immediately changed her expression and ran away with the reindeer chopper. Her observation hockey had already sensed these terrifying descendants. But how could Dai Dai give her this opportunity? Lafitte and Crow, 2 flying zone ability users, immediately intercepted them and blocked their way. Chopper instantly entered a tall human animal form and wanted to fight off these pirates with Dr. Dory. At this time, Dai Dai also landed with a terrifying aura and appeared in front of Dr. Kaleha and Chopper. Hello. Dr. Kaleha, Dr. Chopper. Dai Duo retracted his huge barrier wings, smiled and greeted the old woman and the reindeer. 7 warlords of the sea, Big Daddy Babaya. Dr. Kaleha looked at this young man solemnly. Dai Dai was not a good person. He came to look for her in such a big way, probably because of the longevity prescription in her hand. Because the Shinigami Poison Q from the Big Daddy pirates also robbed her things on Drum Island, but was repelled by her. Later, the Big Daddy pirates also came to Drum Island once, and even killed the king. Wapple was kidnapped. It was also because Dai Dai took away this brutal king that the life of the citizens of Sigu Island became a little easier. Only then did she have the heart to occupy this capital kingdom that belonged to the king of Siguda Island. Dai Dai's conqueror's momentum had already made this timid reindeer chopper tremble, but he still gritted his teeth and stood in front of Dr. Dory. It does not allow others to harm his family. This time I come to Gugu Island. I want to invite you two to join my medical team and help develop some medicines. I wonder what you two mean? Dai Dai approached the two of them step by step. Under his strong momentum, Chopper still couldn't hold on and trembled and returned to his short human form. Then he quickly hid behind Dr. Kaleha, tremblingly hugging Kaleha's thigh, and looked nervously at Dai Duo, this terrifying man. Captain Dai Dai, I know you want a prescription for longevity, and I can give it to you. But I'm old and don't have much energy, and this reindeer is a fool, so we won't bother you. Dr. Kaleha saw the powerful crew members of the Big Daddy pirates disembarking one after another. She knew that she would not be able to get rid of these greedy wolves unless she brought something out. Now the 7 warlords of the sea and the Big Daddy pirates, their power can completely destroy the entire Drum Island. Dr. Kaleha is still going strong and has strong vitality. How can he be old? Besides, Chopper is also a genius doctor. Please don't underestimate Chopper. Dai opened his mouth and praised Dr. Kaleha and Chopper. Chopper was praised by Dai and immediately started to squirm shyly, like a noodle. No, even if you praise me, I won't go with you. Chopper, the reindeer, put his two little hooves together, smiled innocently, and said something that he didn't mean very happily. This idiot. Dr. Kaleha lowered his head and glanced at Chopper, a simple and stupid deer. If you go to sea with this kind of personality, you will be done with it sooner or later. As for the Big Daddy Pirates, even such a vicious pirate group is not suitable for a simple child like Chopper. She wants to find a pirate group for Chopper like the Roger Pirates, who must have a kind heart and strong potential. Let's get straight to the point. Dai, tell me your conditions, otherwise I, an old woman, would rather die in my hometown than go to sea with any pirate. Dr. Kaleha suddenly said forcefully that as an old monster over 100 years old, she knew that a pirate like Dai, who put his interests first, could completely negotiate for his interests. But if she encounters a stupid young man like Kaido of the Beasts, she will choose to give in and pretend to surrender, and then find a way to escape later to avoid being beaten to death with a stick. Dai looked at Dr. Kaleha's wrinkled old face and saw that she was holding a green wine bottle in her hand. This did look a bit like the Captain John zombie in Gecko Moria's hand. This old witch seems to know the secrets of the D clan. Not only has she met the Roger Pirates, but she also has a good attitude towards the other D clan. He is even willing to send Chopper, the reindeer he raised as his son, on the pirate ship of Straw Hat Luffy, a member of the D clan. Haha. Dr. Kaleha seems to be wary of me. If that's the case, I won't be polite. It's just that Dr. Chopper missed an excellent opportunity to go to sea. Then hand over the life-prolonging prescription in your hand and the blue wave ball prescription in Chopper's hand, and I will no longer force you to get on the ship. Dai smiled softly and said, it doesn't matter whether Dr. Kaleha and Chopper join his pirate group or not, as long as they get what they want. Even Guy, a shady scientist, put forward many useful suggestions for the transformation of the blue ball. When the time came, Dai went to capture this timid scientist. Anyway, Punk Hazard is also one of Dai's goals. Dai is determined to get that artificial green dragon fruit. My blue ball. Chopper also didn't expect that Dai, a terrifying man, would actually like his pills. Although his blue wave ball could give him a few more transformations, his strength was also very weak and was completely inferior to this man. Dr. Kaleha was also surprised. The blue wave ball was something Chopper had invented himself. No one else knew about it except Chopper and her. Why does Dai know about the blue wave ball? They don't seem to have been in contact with anyone. What is going on? Where did Captain Daidu know the name of children's candy like blue wave balls? Dr. Kaleha still couldn't help but ask, is there a surveillance phone bug in this drum palace? You don't need to know this. After handing over the prescription, we will leave. Otherwise, both of you can stay in my territory for a few years. Quote. Dai stepped forward again, and the crew members of the Big Daddy Pirates also vaguely surrounded Dr. Kaleha and Chopper. Chopper was so scared that Chopper hugged Dr. Kaleha's thigh tightly. Hey, I'll give it. Dr. Kaleha also lost her temper completely. She had already prepared an escape rope in the drum palace. As long as someone climbed the mountain, she would be able to detect it in advance and escape from this place at any time. But he didn't expect that Dai would actually land in the air and let her, a veteran grandmaster who had escaped for 100 years, be blocked directly at the door of her house, and all her escape plans were in vain. Dr. Kaleha could only hand over his life-prolonging prescription. Shinigami Poison Q and Trafalgar Law both stepped forward to check the authenticity of the prescription. Chopper was trembling all over and breaking out in a little cold sweat. He carefully tested his right foot, stepped forward and handed a prescription to Dai. Bring it to you. Seeing Chopper's adorable appearance, Dai suddenly smiled and grabbed Chopper, then started to pick him up crazily, letting the civet cat-like reindeer be rubbed and deformed in Dai's hands. Mother Dolly, save me. Chopper struggled wildly and kept shouting, his face turned blue with fright, but he couldn't escape Dai's ravages. Dr. Kaleha also couldn't believe that Babaya, the murderous daddy, would actually show such a playful side. He seems to like Chopper, the little reindeer. Even the crew members of the Big Daddy Pirates seem to have discovered another attribute of their captain. Haha. Chopper, if you want to go to sea in the future, just call me Chopper. My pirate ship can fly into the sky and dive into the sea, and you can see the endless scenery of the sea. Dai, who was satisfied with masturbating, laughed and put the little reindeer down, put away the blue wave ball prescription, then waved his hand, and Queen Sweetheart came down with a big marshmallow and handed it to Dai. Chopper, this marshmallow worth 200 Baileys is given to you. I hope that after you become a pirate in the future, Your bounty will exceed the price of marshmallows as soon as possible. Dai Dai smiled and gave the marshmallow worth 2 newspapers to the reindeer chopper, while the others were also stunned. Are there really pirates with such low bounties? Naval headquarters and economic news are out of their minds to issue a wanted warrant with such a low bounty. 1 or 200 belly is not enough to print the color wanted poster, paper fee and seagull delivery fee. You must know that newspapers and wanted posters require 2 payments. Otherwise, do you think that a newspaper worth 100 belly would include a pile of wanted warrants? It is really impossible to make back the printing and paper costs of the color wanted poster. So sweet. I don't want to be wanted. Chopper took a bite of the marshmallow and was so happy that his eyes turned into heart shapes. He didn't care about the wanted order at all. He still felt that it would be better not to have a bounty. Okay. Since Dr. Kaleha doesn't want to join us notorious pirates, then we're leaving. I hope these 2 prescriptions are true. Don't fool us, otherwise you will know the consequences. Dai Dai shook the blue wave ball formula in his hand, then laughed and led the crew to land on the Ark and leave. Now their time is very tight. Fire Fist Ace and Blackbeard Teach are the ones with the biggest profits. The advantages of Drum Island and Floating Sky Island are all things that can be easily grabbed. Seeing the golden spaceship go away, Dr. Kaleha took a deep breath. Unexpectedly, it was robbed by a junior. Dr. Dolly, this marshmallow is so sweet. And I think that big pirate named Dai Dai is not a bad guy after all. After eating a stack of marshmallows and getting a phone bug to contact him at any time, Chopper felt a little bit of recognition. This human pirate didn't seem to resent the fact that he was a monster that was neither human nor deer. He saw a little bit of fondness in Dai Dai's eyes, instead of looking at monsters. Well, maybe he really likes you, but his ship is a pirate ship full of fighting and killing. Are you willing to live a murderous life? Dr. Kaleha took one look at this stupid deer. He bribed you with a marshmallow. It was really too simple. In the future, if someone sells her, she will have to count the money for others. I don't want to kill people, I just want to find a panacea to cure any disease, but he really doesn't hate me. Chopper is a little entangled. He really longs for recognition from his human partners. He is not a monster, but as a doctor who is determined to create a panacea, he also does not want to live a life of murder. The world is so helpless and we can't have the best of both worlds. Just wait a little longer. Maybe we will wait until you are recognized as an adventurous free pirate, just like Roger the Pirate King's pirate group. Dr. Kaleha said softly, to comfort this stupid deer son. Dai Dai is indeed good to his members, but after all, they are a group of vicious pirates who kill like hemp. Aboard the Galosiati, the prescription for longevity was immediately handed over to the medical department for research. Dr. 20, Chinese herbalist Nakan, Shinigami Poison Q, and death surgeon Trafalgar Law, these top doctors are researching and exploring these 2 prescriptions. Nichin's short-term rejuvenation potion and this life-extending prescription may be able to produce a better lifespan prescription. Devil Sheriff Lafitte and Beiji Crow, 2 zone ability users, both want to try more transformation forms and develop stronger combat power. The SIQ evolution potion in Dr. Indigo's hand may also be able to collide with the blue wave ball prescription. After all, the evolved monsters on the Floating Beast Island have been able to evolve powerful abilities such as lightning and fire breathing. If the SIQ blue wave ball is developed, it will not only add multiple transformation forms, but also add lightning and flame abilities. Then even the ordinary zone devil fruit ability can use the ability effect of the fantasy beast species. For this project, Dai Dai coerced and lured Dr. Indigo, tortured and beat him, and finally succeeded in subduing him. Now the Big Daddy pirates are rushing to the Floating Sky Island to take over the capital and various research materials accumulated by Golden Lion Shiki for more than 20 years. Dai Dai wants to swallow these trophies completely anyway. At that time, coupled with the S-poison of the Fishmen Island, all the technologies will be integrated together. Not to mention the Rear Admiral, a batch of Vice Admiral level suicidal evolved monsters can even be created. Even if you activate your full potential and can only live for half a day or a few hours, you can still massacre the enemy's vitality on a large scale. Thinking of this, Dai Dai's eyes flashed fiercely. From now on, no matter if it is Marine or 4 Emperors, if you offend him, he will take crazy revenge. There are a lot of targets. After taking down Blackbeard Teach and handing Fire Fist Ace to Naval Headquarters, I went to grab those things back, and then waited for the Summit War to break out. Dai Dai stood on the bow of the boat and whispered. He suddenly raised the corner of his mouth. He wondered if Doflamingo and Kaido of the Beasts would make more noise if Geisa was caught. Then make the Summit War more intense. The red-haired Shanks will definitely block Kaido of the Beasts, but he may fight more fiercely than in the original work. How about sending Usopp and Monkey D. Luffy to the execution stand? See if the red hair pirates can stop Kaido of the Beasts, or go to Marineford immediately. Will Usopp and Shanks watch their son and heir to their will fall? Maybe even the Revolutionary Army will get involved. However, with the minds of Sengoku and Hada, they probably wouldn't offend so many people at once. Straw Hat Luffy is too conspicuous. As Garp's grandson, he will not be publicly executed. Why don't we send Usopp, a little-known sidekick, and see Usopp's reaction? I don't know if Naval Headquarters knows about the relationship between Usopp and Usopp. We have to find a way to get Marine to send Usopp to the execution stand, and maybe 3-4 emperors will have to gather. By the way, at the Thriller Bark in Gecko Moria, there is Charlotte Lola, the daughter of Aunt Charlotte Linlin. This ugly girl was once married to the prince of the Elbaf Giant Kingdom, but she escaped from the marriage. If Charlotte Lola is also sent to the execution stand, the aunt may not come, but it is hard to say for the doting sister Katakuri. However, Buddha Sengoku and Crane Vice Admiral will definitely not execute these guys in public. This is a problem. Dai D whispered, if Usopp and Charlotte Lola are sent to the execution stand together, then this time the 4 emperors gather to fight against Naval Headquarters, it will be even crazier. As for Kaido of the Beasts, even if none of his crew members are captured, he will definitely rush into this world-class war. Dai was thinking crazily. It was easy to capture Usopp and Charlotte Lola. How could he send them to the execution platform and execute them publicly, thereby attracting the attention of Usopp and Katakuri and forcing the 2-4 emperors' pirate groups to join the war? The most important thing is to let Naval Headquarters take the blame, and Dai does not want to provoke 3-4 emperors at the same time. He just wants to be the mastermind behind the scenes. Otherwise, he might have been safer in Marie Joy's. If such a large-scale battle really breaks out, then these solidified 4 emperors' forces in Naval Headquarters can make room for more newcomers. It's too difficult to plan a world-class war. Dai had a headache. Charlotte Lola's identity had already been exposed, and Usopp didn't know what was going on. However, how could Buddha Sengoku publicly execute so many important people at the same time? He was also afraid of provoking 2-4 emperors' pirate groups at the same time. In thinking, time flies by. The Big Daddy pirates have crossed the ruined Shifeng Island and arrived near the Floating Sky Island group. The Golden Spaceship arc Proverbs quickly took off. With the assistance of Dr. Indigo, the Big Daddy pirates began to search the Floating Sky Island group and transported various rare materials back to the ancient Luo Sayati Island ship. If those monsters weren't so big that even the arc's Proverbs couldn't fit inside, they would have to bring some down to study some, or feed Lily Carnation. On Melvi Island, the island of beasts, the Big Daddy pirates dug up most of the IQ plants on the island for research. All information on SIQ pharmaceuticals, whether finished products or semi-finished products, will be taken away. They also took away the Chiropterans, a rare race that can learn to fly. When the time comes to deprive Golden Lion Shiki of his Devil Fruit ability, these floating sky islands will still fall, and Dai will not be able to stop them. Unless he can persuade Golden Lion Shiki, a prisoner, to put down the Floating Sky Island. But Dai doesn't want to untie Golden Lion Shiki's sea stone. If this guy disappears in a flash, where will Dai find him? So we can only abandon these floating sky islands and search for the most valuable things. As the Big Daddy pirates continue to search for the Floating Sky Island group, the chase between Fire Fist Ace and Blackbeard Teach seems to have reached a critical moment. Blackbeard Teach felt that no matter how he changed his course, Fire Fist Ace could follow his savory Sakura peach pie like a fly. Fire Fist Ace also found it strange why he could get accurate information about Teach every time he inquired casually. He once thought that Sage was blessing him in the sky, allowing him to successfully hunt Teach and avenge Sage. Fire Fist Ace and Blackbeard Teach didn't know that their game of chasing each other was under the control of Big News Morgans. Gahaha. Hurry up. Send a message to Dai immediately. Hire someone to drag this fat black man away. Morgans laughed, feeling that big news was about to happen. Will Fire Fist Ace, the captain of Whitebeard's 2nd Division, be more powerful, or will 7 warlords of the sea and Big Daddy Babaya be more powerful? As for this fat black man, there is nothing to pay attention to. On the Machine Island on the other side, a red-haired man controlled the mechanical metal in the sky and beat the genius mechanic Rajat to death. Eustace Kid, who has the ability of Paramecia Magnetic Fruit, feels like he has entered his absolute home in the Machine City on the Machine Island. All of Rajat's mechanical giants are toys in his hands. And Rajat was as helpless as a chihuahua. He didn't expect that the giant mechanical soldier he was so proud of would be so vulnerable to this demon fruit power. This caused him to fall into deep doubts about his mechanical research and scientific research. The knowledge that he had studied hard for many years was of no use in front of this cruel pirate. Is Devil Fruit's ability really that powerful? After his mechanical giant was dismantled into scrap metal by Eustace Kid, Roget grabbed his hair, cried, and beat the ground crazily. Haha. They're all trash. Tell Lousy, where has this bastard Big Daddy Baba gone? Lousy is going to kill him. Eustace Kid laughed crazily. He heard that Dai's island ship was transformed into a mechanized island ship on this island. Doesn't that mean that Dai is helping Kid build a metal home stadium? Then his magnetic fruit can do whatever he wants on Dai's island ship, and use Dai's island ship metal to beat Dai to pieces. Thinking of this, Kid laughed wildly. What 7 warlords of the sea is destined to be his stepping stone? He, Eustace Kid, is the strongest pirate. The lord of the machine island, Roget, was crying bitterly. His subordinates, the real colonel and the serious general, had all been killed by Kid and Kira. Even Roget's mother and old housekeeper were crushed under the metal ruins because the mechanical city was violently dismantled by Kid's magnetism, and their lives and deaths are unknown. I will never let you go. Roget looked at Kid with red eyes and gritted his teeth, then disappeared into the ruins of the machinery city through a secret passage. Kid, don't leave any trouble. Kira, the masked killing warrior, immediately rushed over with his death scythe to kill Roget, the mechanical scientist. Haha. A bad scientist who only knows how to play with machines, what threat can he pose? Even if he could build a mecha, it would be just a pile of scrap metal under Lousy's magnetic fruit. Eustace Kid laughed, and then ordered his men to search the island for money and supplies. He also found some useful rare metals and brought them back to the ship to develop his new abilities. In the underground port of the Organ Island, Roget had already taken a diving mechanical giant and temporarily escaped from the Organ Island. He could not even confirm the life or death of his mother and the old housekeeper. In the end, Kira failed to eradicate the root cause and had no choice but to return. After the plunder, the Kid pirates once again set sail with great momentum to find the Big Daddy pirates. After learning that Big Daddy Bobby's island ship was already a semi-mechanized war fortress, Kid became more confident in defeating Dai. He even wanted to snatch Dai's island ship and occupy this huge mechanical island ship. After the Kid pirates left, a diving robot appeared on the sea, and Roget watched the departure of these enemies with hatred on his face. I will definitely let you be buried with Guandao, Roget said with a gloomy face, and then immediately returned to the ruins of the machinery city on the machine island to search for the whereabouts of his mother and the old housekeeper. When he found the bodies of his family members, this genius mechanic collapsed completely. After crying, Roget pulled out a phone bug. I join you, but I want Eustace Kid to die. Roget shouted at the phone bug, his tone full of hatred. His family was gone, his subordinates were gone, the mechanical city he had built for many years was gone, and his dream of dominating the world by controlling the island turtles was completely shattered. All he has now is anger and hatred. He took out the 7 warlords of the sea Dai and Babaya and left the phone bug behind. He thought that he would never be able to join anyone else in his life, but he didn't expect that he would join Dai so soon. Yes. If you are valuable enough, I can even give you Eustace Kid's magnetic fruit ability. An indifferent voice came from the other side of the phone. Although Dai was a little surprised that Eustace Kid destroyed the machine island, he didn't really care. Although Kid, the iron-headed boy, wanted to use Dai as a stepping stone, which led to the accidental injury on the island, but in this sea, the weak were destroyed and they were not qualified to be reasonable. As long as you kill Kid, my life is yours. Roget was talking hysterically, and it seemed that only hatred was left in his heart. All his mechanical giants could not deal with Kid's magnetic fruit ability, and he could only seek help from outside forces to complete his revenge. Very good. You stay on the island now, and I will go there after a while. As for Kid, he will never have a chance to enter the new world, he will die in the Grand Line. Dai accepted Roget's conditions of surrender. Anyway, Kid's magnetic fruit was also one of his goals. As for Eustace Kid, a supernova captain who can awaken conquerors' hockey and has an iron-headed personality, it is impossible to surrender, so Dai has no intention of recruiting him. In the original work, this red-haired hedgehog first provoked the red hair pirates and had his hand cut off, then provoked the Big Mom pirates and snatched the red historical text, and finally attacked Kaido of the Beasts and was sent to prison for reform through labor. I have to admit that his troublemaking ability is no less than that of Straw Hat Luffy, but the fault is that he is not the protagonist, and his relationship is not strong enough. He is just a street gang leader and has no background. There is no good father, no good master, no guide. On the other side, Dai put down the phone, his expression unchanged. Unexpectedly, Eustace Kid also gave him an assist, and Roget, a genius mechanic, took the initiative to send it to him. Moreover, Kid is so stubborn that he actually dares to come to Dai to fight. he is really confident. If Blackbeard Teach and Firefist Ace weren't about to come into contact, Laozi would have turned around now, and Gao Luo would have given you God's avoidance, to see how strong your head is. Dai Dai chuckled and whispered, in his eyes, the value of a kid is not comparable to Blackbeard Teach's dark fruit ability. Set sail and rush to Sunset Island at full speed. After Arc Proverbs plundered the last resources in the floating islands, Dai Dai immediately ordered that as for the small money left, he didn't bother to search for it. Yes, Captain. The Big Daddy pirates, who were full of food, excitedly set sail again. Arc Proverbs landed back on the island ship to transport supplies, while the Guro Sayadi started directly and moved quickly in one direction. Blackbeard, here I come. Ace, you can't escape your fate. Dai Dai stood on the watchtower at the top of the rhizome of the flower of life and death, his ambitions constantly bursting out, and he finally reached the intersection that determines his fate. Grand Line, Sunset Island. A fat black man wearing a white shirt with his belly exposed was eating his favorite Sakura peach pie in a bar. After escaping from the New World for so many days, he still has not recruited a crew member he likes. Either he is not strong enough, or his potential is too low, and he is not worthy of being his crew member. When I came to this island this time, I heard that there once appeared on the island a powerful marksman who claimed to be able to shoot down giant dragons and even phantom beasts. I don't know if these legends are true. However, the archers on this island are indeed very strong, because when he first arrived on the island, he saw several powerful archers competing. Even boulders can be penetrated, let alone pirate ships. He also saw a powerful archer who could shoot the trunk of a big tree directly and cause the entire tree to fall. He felt that if this archer were to shoot the mast of the pirate ship, he would definitely be able to explode it with one arrow and cut off the sail power of the pirate ship. A strong man with such strength made him envious. If possible, he really wants to recruit the most powerful archer to become his first crew member. Not far from this bar, a high-priced mission order had just been posted on a bounty hunter's mission list. A photo of a fat, dark man was on it, and his current location was also marked. Capture Blackbeard Teach alive. It doesn't matter if his limbs are broken, as long as he doesn't die. The bounty is 100 million Baileys. Maid. What is this? There is such an unknown person in the Grand Line who is offering a high bounty. It seems that I have never seen this fat black man, not even the reward notice. The bounty is actually hundreds of millions. Isn't this the price of a supernova? He's actually at the Sunset Bar. Hurry up. This 100 million belly belongs to Laozi. A pirate carrying a big knife laughed and rushed towards the Sunset Bar in the center of Sunset Island. After the people behind him reacted, they also rushed towards the Sunset Bar. For an unknown person with no wanted warrant, someone actually offered a reward of 100 million belly. This was simply giving them money. They didn't believe that Blackbeard Teach, who didn't have a wanted warrant, could do anything. The bounty is 100 million. Then I'm going to join in the fun. A young man with black hair carrying a black iron bow showed a very interested expression and immediately followed the flow of people and rushed to the Sunset Bar. 100 million Baileys is not a small amount. If they could win it, they would be able to live comfortably for a while in exchange for better bows and arrows, and the consumption of sharp arrows would also be a huge expense for them. And on a piece of sea not far from Sunset Island, a small speedboat was moving forward rapidly, with flames constantly spurting out from behind the boat, becoming a huge driving force for progress. Teach. I won't let you go this time. A young man with a face called Madara, with his upper body exposed, showing his solid muscles, and wearing an orange hat with a happy and sad expression on his head. At this moment, he looked sharply at Sunset Island, which was still a small dot in the distance. This time he must catch up with the traitor. Because God and Saki were blessing him, allowing him to get accurate information from Teach time and time again. In the sky, several seagulls flew past, dotting the vast blue sea with a few white dots. In another area of the sea, there is also a huge mechanical island ship, quickly rushing to Sunset Island. In the Sunset Bar, after Marshal D Teach downed several bottles of wine and ate dozens of Sakura peach pies, he exclaimed that he was happy. And a few waiters whispered something into the bartender's ear, which surprised the bartender and inadvertently glanced at the fat black man a few more times. The bartender's eyes were noticed by Blackbeard Teach, which made him feel a little strange, but he didn't really care. After all, he is just an unknown person with zero bounty on his head. As long as he is not a pirate of the Whitebeard Pirates, no one will take action against him. But soon, his eyes changed, as if he was a different person. The conceited eyes disappeared and turned into deep and ambitious ones. Could it be that the Whitebeard Pirates put a bounty on themselves in the underground dark world? The profound Blackbeard Teach quickly noticed the change in the atmosphere, and many guesses appeared in his mind. Guest, this is your wine. The bartender brought a few bottles of wine again, with a hint of excitement on his face, looking at the fat black man as if he were looking at gold. Even a conceited Teach can detect the bartender's evil intentions, let alone a wise Teach. Drink. Old man. Blackbeard Teach suddenly grinned, picked up the wine bottle with one hand, grabbed the bartender's collar, and poured the wine into the bartender's mouth with a laugh. No, save. Life, quickly, take. Him. The bartender, who was constantly being fed poisonous wine, screamed with fear on his face. He kept struggling, but found that he could not break free from the palm of this fat black man. This made his face paler. As a bartender who dealt in both black and white, he also had good strength. He even defeated a drunken pirate who had a bounty of 20 million belly. Now he is helpless in the hands of this unknown person. Stop. The boys and the gangsters in the bar were watching the scene, and they all pulled out their long knives to kill the fat black man who was causing trouble. Haha. It seems like we have to leave quickly again. Blackbeard Teach casually threw the bartender out and smashed him against the wall. The bartender bled to death in an instant during the collision, which shows his terrifying strength. Then Blackbeard Teach knocked these boys and gangsters away with a few punches, and swaggered out of the Sunset Bar while laughing. In fact, Blackbeard Teach was a little angry. With something like this happening, it seemed that recruiting powerful archers as a crew was going to be a bit of a problem. However, when he just walked out of the Sunset Bar, his pupils shrank suddenly. 3 bows and arrows were shot at him in an instant. He quickly dodged, but he was still hit by a sharp arrow on his left shoulder. It hurts. It hurts. It hurts so much. Blackbeard Teach immediately fell to the ground and screamed in pain, but the next moment his eyes were full of murderous intent, and he endured the severe pain and pulled out the bow and arrow. Haha. Is this the goal of a bounty of 100 million? It's really rubbish. A bounty hunter laughed, but there was more greed in his eyes. This is money in vain. Whoever grabs it belongs to whoever. The young man holding the iron bow was also stunned for a moment. He only made a slight move to test the target who had a bounty of 100 million. Unexpectedly, the fat black man fell down like this without any image, and it seemed that the pain was so exaggerated that he cursed his mother. Even if a pirate with a bounty of 10 to 20 million was hit by an arrow, it would not be such an exaggeration. Does this fat black man really need 100 million belly to arrest him? Could the bounty hunter be lying? Blackbeard Teach stood up with a gloomy face amidst the bounty hunter's ridicule. He threw the bloody arrow to the ground, and the blood stopped flowing where the shoulder was injured. If anyone looked carefully, the flesh and blood of the wound was squirming and recovering quickly. An ominous and angry aura spread out from Blackbeard Teach's body. The young man holding the black iron bow shrank his pupils and immediately retreated hundreds of steps away from this dangerous and ominous figure. As Sunset Island's famous genius marksman, Sunset Duyaya's name is very famous among the archers and bounty hunters on Sunset Island, and everyone also recognizes his strength. And Da Yiya's eyes and archer's intuition were also very powerful. He really felt the strong death crisis in this fat black man. Everyone, be careful, this guy is not a simple person. Duyaya shouted at these bounty hunters, with a trace of solemnity in his eyes. Haha, Duyaya, this guy has 100 million belly. If you don't want it, then we will take it. These bounty hunters did not listen to Duyaya's warning and went up to kill him one by one, hoping to catch the fat man as soon as possible in exchange for the bounty. Haha. That bow and arrow brat, you were the one who shot me, right? You can still feel the danger. Is it because you have awakened observation hockey? Kid, although you hurt me, I still want to ask if you are interested in boarding my ship and becoming a crew member of my pirate group. Blackbeard Teach laughed, as if he saw a good seedling. A large amount of black substance began to appear on his body. As for these arrogant guys, let Lousy go to hell. Dark acupoint. Blackbeard Teach slapped the ground with his right hand, and an endless wave of darkness broke out on him and spread to all sides. Wherever the dark matter goes, whether it is humans or buildings, they are all attracted and plunged into darkness. What is this? Save me, I can't move. No. I can't move either. Oops. Run. Sure enough, I knew it would be difficult to get these 100 million Baileys, bastard. Archers, shoot him. Kill him and this devil fruit ability will disappear. Archers and bounty hunters kept shouting in fear, and some people's legs quickly fell into the darkness. It would not take many seconds for his whole body to be plunged into darkness. Haha. Try the power of the worst fruit. And don't underestimate me. Lousy was just careless. Blackbeard Teach laughed crazily, and then saw some bows and arrows shooting at him. His hands turned black and swept these bows and arrows away. Blackbeard Teach would not take these pirates and bounty hunters in the Grand Line lightly. He really thought that his more than 20 years of working in the New World was in vain. Things like the two-color hockey have long been ruined in the New World. He was on the Four Emperors Whitebeard Pirates, how could there be no hockey? There were even old crew members who recommended him to become the captain of the second division, but he didn't want to be famous. He always wanted to pretend to be a pig-eater and a tiger, and he didn't want to be in the limelight. After Kazuki Oden left, the position of the second team was vacant for more than 20 years until the emergence of Fire Fist Ace. Moreover, the red-haired Shanks Conqueror's haki was so powerful that he forced his old rival, Haki, who had secretly trained hard for a long time. Although it is not a top-level haki, it is more than enough to deal with these pirates in the Grand Line. However, it was also his training on haki that made him completely unable to compete with the red-haired Shanks. It also made him focus more on dark fruit and planning shock fruit's power. Da Yi Ya saw that the buildings centered on Blackbeard Teach continued to collapse, and the bounty hunters continued to disappear into the darkness. This scene made him feel fear. What kind of terrifying power is this? Let them go. Da Yi Ya, who was eager to save people, was holding a black long bow. He suddenly forgot his fear and concentrated on setting the arrow. He exerted all his strength and drew the bow like a full moon. The black long bow suddenly sucked Da Yi Ya's hand, constantly draining his physical strength. Black breath came out of the bow and attached to the arrow, dyeing the arrow black. Sunset Ya. With a pale face, Da Yi Ya shot an arrow that filled his whole body with energy, and then he supported his body with a black long bow a little weakly. He actually triggered the powerful power of the black long bow again, which made him very excited. This ancestral black bow was indeed a magical weapon. Ah, it hurts. It hurts. You can actually wrap around armament haki. The dark matter all over Blackbeard Teach suddenly disintegrated, and a sharp arrow was inserted into his blackened arm, causing him to fall to the ground and scream in pain. But the surrounding dark matter still hasn't disappeared and continues to swallow up buildings and lives. Ho. Ho. Ha ha ha. Bow and arrow brat, I recognize your strength, please become my partner. Blackbeard Teach gasped and stood up. It was obvious that he was in severe pain. He quickly pulled out the arrow again and threw it away, as if these injuries were no big deal to him. Moreover, he looked at the bow and arrow brat enthusiastically, as if he saw a crew member with great potential. At this time, the cries of fear around them became more and more loud, until they disappeared. The sunset town on Sunset Island actually slowly disappeared into the darkness. What did you do to them? Da Yi looked at Blackbeard Teach in fear. Apart from the townspeople who fled the town, his hometown of Sunset Town had actually disappeared. Thief, haha. If you dare to attack others, you must be prepared to die. Kid. These are the rules of the sea. Blackbeard Teach laughed. He raised his hands, and the darkness that flooded the entire town, like Uzumaki, returned to him, and above his head, a dark tornado appeared, full of evil and depression. Just when Blackbeard Teach wanted to continue to recruit this marksman, several flame spears shot at Blackbeard Teach instantly, pinning him to the ground. Ah! It hurts. It hurts. Blackbeard Teach fell to the ground and screamed in pain again, but this time he quickly got up and looked at the rapidly approaching ball of flames with evil eyes. Teach. Finally found you. Why did you kill Sage? Tell me, bastard. You are right, the sea has its own rules, but we, the Whitebeard Pirates, also have our own rules. You traitor. Are you ready to die? An angry voice came out from the flames, and then in the eyes of Da Yi Ya and Blackbeard Teach, a flame shape marked by the Whitebeard Pirates appeared, and a young man flew out of the flames. Fire Fist Ace, the leader of the Whitebeard Pirates' second division, appeared with an explosion. A huge fire fist took shape again and slammed into Blackbeard Teach. A windshield-shaped black Uzumaki appeared in Blackbeard Teach's hand and swallowed the huge fire fist directly. This scene made Fire Fist Ace frown. His famous stunt was actually swallowed up like this? Haha. Ace, do you see it? This is the power of dark fruit, the most vicious devil fruit ability in history. If you look at this town again, they were destroyed by my dark fruit ability. Blackbeard Teach opened his hands and laughed, as if to show off his glorious achievements. Now the entire Sunset Town has been scraped 3 feet away by his dark devouring ability, turning it into a barren yellow land. Just because of this devil fruit ability, you killed Saki? Fire Fist Ace asked angrily. He couldn't understand why the usually honest old crew member would do such a cruel thing. This is a veteran crew member who has joined the Whitebeard Pirates for more than 20 years. Ace, you have no idea what this devil fruit represents. I joined the Whitebeard Pirates for so many years just to wait for this devil fruit. If it hadn't appeared, I could have stayed on my father's boat for the rest of my life. But when I saw it appearing in the hands of Captain Sachi, I was so disappointed. Why didn't I get this fruit? Of course, I am more excited because this devil fruit has finally appeared. So, for that, I can kill anyone. Blackbeard Teach happily shared his joy with Ace and told about his difficulties in these years. I have waited for more than 20 years for a devil fruit, suppressed myself for so long, and pretended to be an honest person for so many years. Why don't you ask Saki? With more than 20 years of love, wouldn't Saki not give it to you? Ace cursed. In his eyes, shouldn't family be more important than a devil fruit? Don't take it for granted, Captain Ace, we are pirates. I will never give Saki a chance to eat dark fruit, I must strike first. Blackbeard Teach grinned, and on the night of the party, he assassinated Thatch and escaped from the Moby Dick. Going to ask Sage for dark fruit. What a waste of time, it would be more straightforward to grab it, and he no longer wanted to stay in the Whitebeard Pirates, a hothouse full of family love. He wants to form his own pirate group, and he wants to be the captain. He wants to have the right to tell the truth. The most important thing is that he also wants Dad's shock fruit ability. If Dark Fruit is asked to stay in the Whitebeard Pirates, he will not be able to get ahead with his qualifications. These captains will not be convinced by him. How many years will he have to wait until Whitebeard dies of old age? He has to find a way to get Shock Fruit's power quickly. And he has already seen that his father seems to be intending to train Ace to become the heir of the Whitebeard Pirates. Even Marco, the captain of the first team, does not have this blessing, let alone Teach himself. Damn it. Teach. I must take you back to Dad for trial. Fire Fist Ace gritted his teeth with hatred. Thatch was the captain he had the best relationship with in the Whitebeard Pirates, and he was even more familiar with him than Marco. Ha ha ha. Ace, Dad is old and has only a few more years to live. It's time to give up the Four Emperors position. Ace, you have great potential, come be my deputy captain. Let's become the new Four Emperors together and conquer the world together. Don't you think the Whitebeard Pirates are too boring? Blackbeard Teach laughed and extended his right hand to Ace, trying to invite him. Ace was beaten badly by Whitebeard. However, in the end, Ace, the irritable little lion, was finally moved by Whitebeard's fatherly love and became a proud little kitten. Blackbeard Teach could clearly feel that the hockey in his body had become weaker and weaker after Fire Fist Ace boarded the ship. If Ace, a young and powerful man full of potential, joins his Blackbeard Pirates, he might be able to re-inspire Conqueror's hockey and become a legendary vice-captain like Pluton Rayleigh. Thinking of this, Blackbeard Teach became even more excited. His ambition was also to be the Pirate King, and to have a vice-captain who had awakened Conqueror's hockey was not too much at all. How dare you say that Dad is old? The Whitebeard Pirates don't need you to preach, bastard. Suffer death. Musket. Fire Fist Ace heard that Teach not only said that his father was old, but also insulted the Whitebeard Pirates for being boring. This is simply unforgivable. How can Moby Dick be boring when it's full of family affection and bonds? Isn't it boring that Dad is holding on to his little bit and still won't admit it? Isn't it boring to hold banquets every day and talk about the family's pirate group? We are pirates. This is not a game of house. Dad has no ambition to become the Pirate King. But I won't let my ambitions and dreams end with the Whitebeard Pirates. Blackbeard Teach also yelled, before using Dark Water Uzumaki again, absorbing Ace's musket attack. Whitebeard obviously has the most powerful power, but after the death of Pirate King Roger, he just kept looking for his family, and by the way became the leader of the Four Emperors. I have never paid much attention to becoming the Pirate King. Watching Charlotte Linlin and Kaido of the Beasts become the Four Emperors one after another, snatching the red historical text, each looking for the secret of reaching the final island, Raftel. Dad will definitely become the Pirate King. Fire Ring Fire Pillar. Seeing that his Fire Fist and musket moves were ineffective against Teach, Ace immediately angrily used his more powerful moves to kill the rude Teach. The endless stream of flames, under the control of his hands, rotated into a huge burning pillar, rushing towards Blackbeard Teach in an instant. Dad doesn't have that idea. It's up to me to be the Pirate King. Liberation. Blackbeard Teach saw Fire Fist Ace's exaggerated pillar of fire and immediately threw everything that had swallowed Sunset Town towards Ace, including the corpses of many bounty hunters and archers. Duya looked at the fight between the two immortals, Fire Fist Ace and Blackbeard Teach, with horror in his eyes. What a huge attack range this was. Everyone is dead. Duya looked at the corpses in the ruins and said with red eyes. Among them were his like-minded archers, competitive friends, and bounty hunters who interrupted the chat. The huge pillar of fire collided fiercely with the released ruins. Countless building ruins and corpses burned in the high-temperature flames and turned into ashes. No. Duya knelt on the ground helplessly, completely unable to believe this fact. Within half a day, his hometown and friends had turned into ashes and completely disappeared from this world. Under the billowing smoke, the air even smelled like meat. Fire Fist Ace and Blackbeard Teach both stood in the endless smoke and dust, and the black ashes, bones, and building ruins underground were piled up 1 or 2 meters high. This is the remnant of the entire Sunset Town. Haha. Ace, the people of Sunset Town, thank you for carrying out the cremation ceremony for them. Blackbeard Teach smiled cruelly. Although he first used the dark fruit's ability to swallow these people into the darkness and kill them, he felt very uncomfortable when a young man with a conscience like Ace accidentally helped him destroy the corpses and eliminate their traces. Happy. Pirates should look like pirates. Do you want to destroy these ants and apologize to them? You see, every time Kaido of the Beasts comes to fight with his father, he always says that the Whitebeard pirates are just like playing house, not like pirates at all, just some mother-in-laws. Teach. You bastard. Mirror Fire Flame. Fire Fist Ace's face looked extremely ugly, especially the smell of meat, which made him feel a little nauseous. He waved his right hand fiercely and sprayed out a huge wall of fire, covering Teach in all directions. See how much fire Blackbeard can devour. Ace, let me show you how powerful dark fruit is. Dark water. Blackbeard Teach in the flames. Chunin was burned by the flames and sucked Ace with his right hand. Caught off guard, Fire Fist Ace was sucked in and Teach caught him on the shoulder. You can't use the ability of Mera Mera fruit, let Lousy die. Blackbeard Teach punched Ace directly in the stomach with a powerful punch, causing Ace to fly back immediately vomiting blood. Haha. Lousy's dark fruit can restrain any devil fruit ability. As long as it is touched by me, you can't use devil fruit ability. Teach laughed and used the dark water again to suck the seriously injured Ace back to give him the final blow. Sacred Fire Shiranui. Fire Fist Ace, who was sucked back, successfully threw 2 flame spears in front of the conceited Blackbeard, piercing Blackbeard Teach. Ah. It hurts. It hurts. Blackbeard Teach, who had just gained a slight advantage, fell to the ground and screamed again. That means, as long as I don't let you touch me. Firefly Fire Bodhidharma. A large number of small light green fireballs immediately surged out of Fire Fist Ace's hands and rushed towards the fallen Blackbeard Teach, exploding on him like a bomb. Blow up Blackbeard Teach until he screams. If Dai Dai had been at the scene, he would have said to Blackbeard Teach, why did he tell the enemy about his devil fruit ability? What a stupid act. At this time, the island ship of the Big Daddy Pirates had also approached Sunset Island, and a golden spaceship arrived in advance above the Smoky Island. I came at just the right time. Looks like the fight hasn't been finished yet. The corners of Dai Dai's lips raised with a smile. This time the plan seemed to be going well. The battle between Fire Fist Ace and Blackbeard Teach was very intense and went exactly according to his script. The big news in another place, Morgan's, was also very surprised after seeing the intelligence. This unknown Blackbeard Teach could actually fight on par with the captain of Whitebeard's 2nd Division, who had a bounty of 550 million belly. You must know that although Fire Fist Ace has not been in the Whitebeard Pirates for a long time and the bounty is not that high, his great strength has been recognized by Whitebeard. Otherwise, Whitebeard Newgate wouldn't have made Fire Fist Ace the captain of the 2nd team. This young captain is only 20 years old, and there is still a lot of room for growth in his future bounty. To be able to fight like this, it seems that this fat black man is indeed not a simple guy. No wonder Big Daddy Babaya is willing to spend 100 million belly to hire people to find trouble for Blackbeard Teach. With the terrifying power to destroy towns, this Blackbeard Teach really has a lot to hide. On the war zone, Fire Fist Ace and Blackbeard Teach once again engaged in a fire attack and defense battle, all using large-scale fire moves, and no longer fighting Teach in close combat. But within an hour, both of them were already out of breath. One tried desperately to set fire to it, and the other tried desperately to defend and devour it, both of which consumed a lot of physical strength. Crossfire. Fire Fist Ace crosses 2 index fingers to form a cross, and shoots a cross-shaped flame light from the fingers, which seems to have good penetration. Ho, ho, thief haha. Ace, it's useless. My dark fruit can swallow everything. Blackbeard Teach was shot by the crossfire and his whole body ignited with flames, but was quickly swallowed up by the dark matter on his body. However, it also caused him a lot of pain and made him breathe a little faster. Then look at it. Bastard. Fire Fist Ace didn't expect Teach to be so difficult. It was true that he underestimated Teach, an honest man, and the punch he received from Teach caused him serious internal injuries. Great Flame Ring. Emperor Yan. Fire Fist Ace wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, his eyes showed solemnity, and huge circles of fire appeared around him. The spiral flames quickly condensed into a giant fireball like the sun. Haha. Is it the sun? Let's see which one is stronger, the sun or the darkness. Blackbeard Teach also became excited and said with a laugh. Endless dark matter poured out of him, forming a huge dark sky. The orange sun and the wave of darkness collided together, the terrifying power erupted, and Da Yi Ya ran away frantically. The Ark Proverbs in the sky and the crew of the Big Daddy Pirates also looked at the huge collision on Sunset Island in shock. Is this the powerful power of Logia Mera Mera fruit users? Fighting champion Badgers looked at the terrifying power below with a face full of desire, and he also wanted to get this powerful Logia ability. As for Enel's Logia Thunder Fruit, Captain Dady seems to be ready to hand it over to Nami, and there is no chance for him. But now there is another Logia Mera Mera fruit ability, which makes him excited. Logia Dark Fruit's ability is the most evil ability in the legend. Is it the captain's goal? Devil Sheriff Lafitte was also shocked by the collision of the sun and darkness. These two forces were no less powerful than Crocodile, or even stronger. All kinds of sea stones are ready, it's hunting time. Dai Dai was paying close attention to the fierce collision below. Barrier armor had appeared on his body, and he was ready to take action at any time. Two dogs fight, play off. This time Dai Dai decided to be the fisherman. Clear. The crew of the Big Daddy Pirates were immediately ready. Van Oka loaded his seastone bullets, Badgers put on his seastone gloves, and the other crew members also quickly put on their seastone weapons. Various daggers, 10 hands, and sticks emerge endlessly. This time Dai Dai attached great importance to both goals, and they did not dare to ignore the captain's order. In the violent collision between the sun and darkness, Sunset Island was completely razed to the ground. Most of the survivors successfully survived by jumping into the sea. Otherwise, it will either be baked to death by the high temperature of the sun, or it will be sucked in and squeezed to death by the gravity of the black hole. Duya Ya carried a black iron bow on his back, lurking under the sea and watching the terrifying fight on the island. His back was also burned by the flames. With hatred in his eyes, Firefist Ace and Blackbeard Teach dueled on his hometown, leaving Sunset Island in ruins. He must avenge this. On the frontal battlefield, after more than 10 minutes of fierce fighting, darkness finally defeated the sun. The sun went out, and the world was flooded with darkness. But soon, with a burst of wild laughter, the darkness faded away. Haha. Ace, I won. It was darkness that defeated the sun. Blackbeard Teach laughed crazily, and after closing the dark curtain, he was also panting and breathing heavily. However, his current physical condition is slightly better than that of Firefist Ace. At least he could still stand and laugh, while Firefist Ace had fallen down, nearly unconscious, and no longer had the energy to even curse. Ace. Give you another chance to become my vice captain. Otherwise, your life will be over. Blackbeard Teach walked towards Firefist Ace with a smile. No matter whether he extracted the ability of Mera Mera fruit or handed him over to naval headquarters in exchange for benefits, he would not lose money. Firefist Ace gave Teach a fierce look and finally fainted. HMPH. If you don't drink a toast, you'll have to drink a fine drink. Blackbeard Teach's face is a bit ugly. His recruitment plan has been frustrated again and again, but this time, if he can get Firefist Ace, he should be able to exchange for some benefits. Ace is sent to naval headquarters. Will Jinbei continue to be the 7 warlords of the sea? Maybe he can become a 7 warlords of the sea. Blackbeard Teach thought for a while, and it seemed that he could make a plan to seize Jinbei's 7 warlords of the sea position. Otherwise, we can only take down one of the 7 warlords of the sea first. However, now that he has no crew, it is somewhat dangerous to attack one of the 7 warlords of the sea alone. Let's recruit crew members first. Blackbeard Teach continued to walk towards the fainted Firefist Ace. At this moment, he suddenly turned his head and looked into the air, his eyes filled with fear. An armored giant, with the power of Mount Tai, fell rapidly from the sky. Boom. A huge explosion erupted. Aha. Even though Blackbeard Teach had tried his best to avoid it, he was still hit by the huge emission hockey shockwave. He was blown away with blood spurting from his mouth, and he almost rolled his eyes. The fainted Firefist Ace was also blown away by the airwave and rolled dozens of times on the ground, suffering more injuries. Bang. X-33 gunshots sounded, and 3 blood flowers appeared on Blackbeard Teach's body. Blackbeard Teach, who had already spent 70% to 80% of his strength with Firefist Ace, was on the verge of collapse under Dai Dai's fierce attack. Unexpectedly, there was Lao Lu plotting against him. Hi. Lu. She. Ah. Blackbeard Teach felt weak all over and his wounds were in excruciating pain. He didn't expect that he was being targeted. He is just a nobody with 0 bounty on his head. This is my highest purity seastone bullet. Below the motto of the Ark, on the back of a ferocious 3-foot-long bird, Otonokoshi Van Oka with a scope said calmly, his famous gun Senriku was still smoking. Captain Dai Dai has already knocked Blackbeard Teach away. If he can't hit it, then he, A sniper shouldn't mess around. Anyway, the captain said, as long as you don't kill Blackbeard, you can just snipe. Oh haha, a fainted Mara fruit ability user. I must not let you die. The devil Sheriff Lafitte, waving white wings, soon appeared above Fire Fist Ace, hoping that the captain of the 2nd Division of the Whitebeard Pirates would not die in the aftermath of Captain Daidu's attack. Lafitte put on gloves and immediately put sea-stone handcuffs on Fire Fist Ace, and quickly carried him back to Ark's Proverbs, letting Trafalgar Law and Poison Q rescue this seriously injured guy. Dai had already taken off his Susanoo armor and appeared in front of Blackbeard Teach. The excitement in his eyes could not be concealed. He did it, and he did it easily. They successfully capture Blackbeard Teach and Fire Fist Ace. Back then, I originally wanted to follow Fire Fist Ace, join the Whitebeard Pirates, and plan Dark Fruit, but God didn't give me a chance. But now, you all fall into my hands. A Dragon King's smile appeared on Dai's face, and the aura on his body began to explode, as if a limiter had been unlocked, increasing rapidly, and his mood was extremely comfortable. Conqueror's Haki has truly been enhanced several times, and his ambition has been wildly unleashed. Laozi's big plan is about to begin. This era will definitely belong to me. Dai looked up to the sky and laughed, and suddenly thrust the Sea-Stone 10 hands into Blackbeard Teach's shoulders, nailing him to the ground, completely cutting off his resistance. Big Daddy. Babaya. Blackbeard Teach endured the severe pain and gritted his teeth as he looked at the rising new king, but he quickly changed his expression. Captain Dai, I know the secret of becoming the Pirate King. Please let me go. I am willing to join you. I am willing to be your pawn. Blackbeard Teach had a look of fear on his face and immediately began to beg for mercy crazily. In the face of death, he could only humble himself again and seek a chance to survive. He also didn't expect that he had already obtained the dark fruit and would fall into the hands of others. I'm really not willing to give in. He lurked for more than 20 years before he got the devil fruit ability he dreamed of. Unexpectedly, within a few months, he became someone else's prisoner. Really careless. Impulsive. He shouldn't fight Ace to the death, but should continue to run away and continue to grow. If he were at the peak of his strength, he would not be attacked by a villain like Dai, nor would he be plotted by the opponent's Yin-Bai sniper with sea-stone bullets. What is this? Why did the Big Daddy Pirates come over to kill him just after he had a fight with Ace? Moreover, the opponent seemed to have a battle plan in advance, defeating the enemy with one blow and completely losing the ability to resist. Teach, stop pretending. I know what kind of person you are. And I know all the secrets you know, and I also know the things you don't know. Accept your fate. In this era, there can only be one hero. That's me. Dai smiled and squatted in front of Blackbeard Teach, gently patted the big brown face a few times, his eyes full of teasing. All the plans and opportunities of 4 Emperors Blackbeard will be my trophies. The fate of Blackbeard Teach is controlled by Dai. Blackbeard Teach can make 4 Emperors in one bite, and I can do it too. In Dai's wanton release of Conqueror's Haki, the golden ship Arc Proverbs landed quickly. Fighting champion Badgers and Ghostman Akin withstood Dai's momentum and immediately tied up Blackbeard Teach with sea-stone handcuffs and anklets. Captain, you asked us to make so many preparations, but you still managed to solve the target by yourself. Badger shouted with a grin, but his hands deftly continued to tie the sea-stone chains on Blackbeard Teach, tying up Blackbeard's entire body. Your preparations are just a precaution. This guy can't make any mistakes. Dai smiled lightly and said. He put away Conqueror's Haki, and his excited mood calmed down. His 4 Emperors plan was about to begin, and the position of 7 Warlords of the Sea could be discarded. However, it seems that they also used the identity of 7 Warlords of the Sea to invade a wave of Impelled Down Impelton. What an exaggerated destructive power. Pirate Hunter Zoro looked at the destroyed island and couldn't help but sigh. The terrifying power of these Logia demon fruit powers is really terrifying. Captain, that Mara fruit's ability. Fighting champion Badger said with a look of longing. To be honest, he really liked the power of this Logia. Fire Fist Ace is an important chess piece and cannot die for the time being. But if there is a chance later, I will try my best to give you this ability. Dai said lightly that if he could recover Fire Fist Ace's Mara fruit ability in Summit War, he really wouldn't mind giving this Logia ability to Badgers. After all, Badgers is now his first loyal crew member as well. The level of loyalty is much higher than that of crew members such as Lafitte, and like Zoro, he can really sacrifice his life for Dai. Waihaha. Thank you, Captain. Bajas immediately said excitedly that with Dai's verbal promise, at least he had an idea and would not say that there was no chance at all. Get ready to leave. I don't want to reveal our presence. Dai immediately ordered to board the ship and set sail. He didn't need the reputation of capturing Fire Fist Ace to increase his power, and he had already arranged a good target for his trap. Why haha. Don't worry, Captain, this island has been wiped out. All these people are probably dead. No one will find out that we have been here. Badger said carelessly. The Sunset Island has now become a piece of scorched earth, and a large layer of the land has been scraped away, leaving no grass growing. The earth was also baked by Fire Fist Ace's high-temperature little sun, and even the surface of the earth was really hardened. However, as if God was against badgers, he had just finished saying this. A sharp black arrow, with a sharp whistling sound, shot straight at Blackbeard Teach, who was tied with seastone, and went straight to his head. Clang. A protective barrier appeared in front of Blackbeard Teach. This black arrow, with terrifying force, hit the barrier and completely collapsed, breaking into several pieces. How dare you touch my trophy? Dai's eyes immediately became fierce, and he suddenly looked at a figure holding a bow and arrow in the distance, with endless murderous intent erupting from his body. Blackbeard Teach's dark fruit ability is related to the core of all Dai's plans. If he is shot and killed, most of his plans will be scrapped. He will never let dark fruit's power disappear. The majestic conqueror's haki exploded on him, pressing crazily against the bow and arrow man. Holding the black iron-tied bow, Da Yi was pressed by Dai's sudden conqueror's haki, and his whole body seemed to be pressed down by a mountain peak, extremely heavy. The terrifying momentum forced his legs to tremble, and he was about to kneel down tremblingly, but his determination to avenge Blackbeard Teach and Fire Fist Ace made him hold on to his body with the black long bow. Captain, the long arrow he just fired seemed to be entangled with armament haki. Otonoko Van Oka appeared next to Daiduo and said softly, with a slight fluctuation in his tone. You must know that even he can't wrap armament haki around the bullet now. He didn't expect that the young man across from him had already achieved this step at such a young age. Such talent surprised him. Fan Oka heard from Daidui that in the daughter country of Nine Snake Island of the Pirate Empress, many Amazon warriors can entangle armament haki on their bows and arrows, bursting out with more powerful destructive power. Kujijima's external technique of wrapping armament haki around the sharp arrow is the same as Wanakuna's emission haki's internal technique of flowing attacks. They are both very ancient techniques. Then go and see who this guy is. Dai also put away his murderous intention and walked towards the man with a bow and arrow who was struggling to hold on. This guy could last so long under his conqueror's haki. It seemed that he was also a tough person. Maybe you can recruit them. Everyone immediately walked over to the side where the attacker was. Tell me your name and the reason for attacking us. Dai walked up to the man with the bow and arrow, glanced at it, and then asked coldly. He put away his domineering aura and gave the young man a chance to breathe. However, Dai soon noticed the black longbow in the hands of the archer man. He was suddenly surprised. This longbow was actually an armed black bow comparable to the supreme sharp knife. He could feel that this black longbow was definitely as powerful as Kazuki Oden's great sword Enma and Shimotsuki Ryoma's black sword Shisui, or even stronger. This F*King thing is almost comparable to the supreme sharp sword, Black Sword Knight. How many years has this pure black been cultivated by the powerful armament haki? This is definitely a top weapon that has been passed down for countless years. Sunset Island Duyaya. Those two bastards destroyed my hometown, I must kill them. Duyaya gritted his teeth and said that even if Dai was a terrifying big shot, he could not stop his determination to take revenge. It turns out they are the remnants of Sunset Island, but if they dare to attack us and discover our traces, then the only option is to die if they join us. Captain, only the dead will prevent our information from being exposed. Beiji Kella flapped his mantis wings and said softly after landing next to Dai. He clearly remembered Dai's words. This operation cannot expose their whereabouts because there is a bigger plan later. Did you hear that? Kid. After seeing what we look like, you have no choice. Tell me, do you want to die or live? By the way, your black bow is really good. Dai also said with a smile, it turns out it's not how strong this big Yi-Ya is, but how strong his black long bow is. This is a special and powerful bow like the great knife Yama. It can absorb the owner's haki or physical strength and trigger the passive weapon color of the long arrow. However, Duyaya can use this black long bow, which means that he has conquered this black long bow, or has obtained the approval of the black long bow. As long as I kill Fire Fist Ace and Blackbeard Teach, I am willing to become your subordinate. Duyaya saw the pirates from the Big Daddy Pirates coming one after another, which doubled the pressure on him. He just thought for a moment and made a decision quickly. Kid, these two people are the trophies of our Big Daddy Pirates, and their life and death can only be decided by our captain. How valuable do you think you are that you can trade your loyalty for the lives of two strong men? Are you overestimating your worth? However, as long as you join our pirate group, you will still have a chance for revenge. Otherwise, you will die now, and you will completely lose hope of revenge. Devil Sheriff Lafitte also flapped his white wings and landed next to Dai Dai. This cruel former security officer was also a master of psychology. He could tell at a glance Captain Dai Dai's intention to subdue this bow and arrow man. He also saw the psychological weakness of the bowman, and immediately said a few words that gave Duyaya no choice, and also allowed the captain to subdue this little guy. Duyaya was suffocated by Lafitte's words, but looking at the Big Daddy Pirates, a group of powerful pirates, he understood his current situation. Join the Big Daddy Pirates to stay alive and have a chance for revenge. Otherwise, the body and head will be lost immediately, and revenge will be out of the question. Even his ancestral black longbow had to be taken away because he saw that his eldest father, Babaya, was very interested in his beloved bow. Although there is no guarantee that you can take revenge with your own hands, these two guys will definitely not have an easy time, and they will die sooner or later. Now, on behalf of the Big Daddy Pirates, I formally invite you to board my pirate ship. Dai Dai said lightly that he also saw the potential of this Big Yi-Ya, especially the black long bow, which was a very good boost. Who doesn't like subordinates who come with high-end equipment? You see, Zoro comes with the big sword Wado Ichimonji, many officers and crew members, and also comes with the devil fruit ability. If it didn't work, he exploded the big Yi arrow, snatched his black longbow, and trained another archer. Moreover, Dai Dai also thought of the carnival baron parasitized by Lily Carnation, and the red arrow fruit on his body. After the flower of life and death changed its host, it was time to reclaim this devil fruit ability. Baron Carnival has been parasitized by Lily Carnation for more than 20 years. His body has been completely destroyed and there is no possibility of living. Dai Dai was originally looking for a powerful archer as the new red arrow fruit ability user. Unexpectedly, on Sunset Island, a powerful archer like Duyaya appeared, and he really got what he wanted. Luck is here, and nothing can stop it. I would like to be your crew member. Duyaya looked at the Blackbeard Teach being carried by badgers, took a few deep breaths, put his hand on Dai Duo's invitation, and officially joined the 7 warlords of the Sea Pirate Group. As an archer and a quasi-bounty hunter on Sunset Island, he has also paid attention to the members of the Big Daddy Pirates and knows their names and approximate strength. As Devil Sheriff Lafitte said, he had no other choice at all. If he couldn't beat him, he would join. This was the only truth to survive. Blackbeard Teach was confused. Why didn't he accept his surrender? And Dai Dai wants to personally invite this archer? Is this because I'm not strong enough, or do you have no human rights if you were ugly? Could it be that Dai Dai looked down upon his begging for mercy? Only a tough person can get Dai Dai's attention? If I had known that he would be tougher and pretend that he would rather die than surrender, he might be able to join the Big Daddy Pirates and just keep growing. He heard that Kaido of the Beasts also likes those tough pirates. Even if they are defeated, they will not be willing to kill them. They will send them to labor reform and look for opportunities to conquer them. Haha. You won't regret joining us. Dai Dai laughed loudly, then picked up Duyaya and took him back to Ark's Proverbs, leaving Sunset Island with the Big Daddy Pirates without leaving any trace. Blackbeard Teach wanted to open his mouth to fight for it, but was quickly turned over by Shinigami and became completely silent. The Ark's Proverbs returned to the island ship Gulosiati, and set sail again to return to the Machine Island to subdue the genius mechanic Rajat, and on the way to find the iron-headed boy Eustace Kid. Under Dai Dai's order, the plan to control Blackbeard Teach was launched immediately. 3 plans must be carried out to find the best control method and realize the recovery of Devil Fruit's abilities as soon as possible. However, before that, I have to say hello to Big News Morgans, lest this bastard spread the news about Dai Dai and Ace. Dai Dai should also think of a way quickly to send Fire Fist Ace to naval headquarters through other channels to start the summit war plan. The Guluo Sayadi was sailing wildly on the sea, and there was a big banquet on the island ship. Captain Dai Dai was very happy today, and everyone was free to eat, drink, and have fun, and there was no need to practice anymore. Even cultivators like Dai Dai and Zoro are on vacation. Foxy finally awakens to hockey and will not be killed by Dai Dai after capturing Blackbeard Teach. In the captain's office, Dai Dai was holding a phone and talking again. Morgans, you must not report today's events, otherwise, don't blame me for falling out with you. However, what comes and goes, I will not let you suffer. I will give you a shocking secret and let you report it, and I guarantee that you will make a lot of money. Dai Dai said in a cold tone. If he hadn't made this call, the news of Big Daddy Babaya capturing Fire Fist Ace might have made headlines tomorrow. Gahaha. Dai Dai, you'd better come up with bigger news than your capture of Fire Fist Ace, otherwise, Lousy won't let you down. Lousy is the most dedicated journalist. Even the world government cannot make Lousy bend. Big news. Morgans is not afraid of Dai's threats. He receives too many threats every year, but he still reports all kinds of news, whether it is black or white, marine or pirate news, it's all his materials. A piece of news that is enough to start a world-class war, as long as we work together well, will definitely shock the whole world. We can also drag naval headquarters and 4 emperors into the water. Are you still afraid that there will be no big news by then? Dai did not say too many harsh words, but followed the temptation. Facing these underground dark emperors, the right way was to bind them with interests. Threats were useless, and they might even arouse resentment and lead to a full-scale confrontation. Oh, do you have any other big plans, my dear Captain Dodier? Morgans had seen Dai Duo's complete control over Firefist Ace and Blackbeard Teach, and he immediately became interested. If he had bigger news, he wouldn't have to report the news about Dai and Firefist Ace. I will start a war between the naval headquarters and the Whitebeard pirates, the leader of the 4 emperors. I just need a little help from you. During the phone call, Dai's arrogant tone reached Morgan's ears, which immediately made the big news shine. He could not wait for Dai's performance. During this day, Dai chatted with Big News Morgans for most of the day. Through part of the summit war plan and the transfer of interests, he finally convinced the dead Birdman and obtained his full cooperation. However, compared to the benefits gained from Dai's comprehensive plan, Morgans only got a little bit of petty profit. How could the money and fame earned through Big News compare to the huge gains that Dai made in real terms? Whether it is the 4 emperors' location and New World territory given up after Whitebeard Newgate's death, or the prisoners in Impel Down, they are a huge wealth. Dai knows that in this world, only strength has the real say. If Morgans wants to make money and expand his influence, let him have fun. After receiving help from the World Economic News Agency, a big public opinion leader, Dai's summit war plan will be more complete. This time, he wants to make the scale of this war even bigger. But now, it's better to use Blackbeard Teach's dark fruit ability successfully, otherwise everything will be empty talk. Inside the top-secret laboratory of the Gulosity, Nokken, Poison Q, and Luo instilled various debilitating potions into Blackbeard Teach's body, making him defenseless. After many experiments, they dared to unlock the Seastone chain on his body. But even so, Munch Fruitwapple was still very worried, and he tremblingly swallowed the weak Blackbeard Teach, achieving a 2-person fusion. But the stupid and imbecile Wapple can only use a little of Dark Fruit's abilities. With his brain, he still can't use more Dark Fruit abilities, let alone swallow other Devil Fruit abilities. He doesn't have the memory of Blackbeard Teach, making it difficult to use other powerful moves. Unless it slowly starts to be redeveloped, this plan was quickly rejected by Dai. He didn't have that much time to wait for Wapple to develop Dark Fruit's abilities. Dai immediately started his second plan, Trafalgar Law's mind conversion plan. If that doesn't work, we will have to let Lily Carnation parasitize Blackbeard Teach. This time Dai took action personally and became a member of the experiment. He wanted to try it out and use Blackbeard Teach's body. For this reason, Dai also prepared 3 weak children to serve as the middlemen for the spiritual transformation. Trafalgar Law doesn't know why Dai had such an arrangement. But after the experiment started, an amazing scene happened. 3 heart-shaped consciousnesses actually appeared on Blackbeard Teach, which shocked Trafalgar Law. However, Dai seemed to have expected it. Luo, transfer Blackbeard's consciousness to these 3 children, and then transfer my consciousness to Blackbeard. Dai took a risk and shouted to Trafalgar Law that even Dai was very afraid of this kind of experiment on consciousness and soul. But for his own plan, he could only take this risk. Understood, Captain. Trafalgar Law endured the shock and transferred the 3 soul consciousnesses of Blackbeard Teach to the 3 children. One of the soul consciousnesses of the 3 children entered Dai's body, and the 2 followed Dai's soul consciousness and entered Blackbeard's body. Why is this happening? Child number 1, Blackbeard, shouted in panic. He never thought that their 3 consciousnesses would be separated one day. Brother, we are separated. X22 slightly female voices shouted from children number 2 and number 3. However, these 2 consciousnesses have coexisted in Teach for 20 or 30 years, and he has long regarded himself as a man and forgotten everything about being a woman. The 2 of them are the soul consciousness of Teach's sister. For some reason, they merged together and took turns using this body. This is why Blackbeard Teach hasn't slept in decades. The one who is arrogant and lustful is the main soul Teach number 1. The one who is cold, wise and full of strategy is the number 2 Teach, and the one who loves history and learns all kinds of knowledge is the number 3 Teach. Trafalgar Law looked at the 3 children very curiously, wanting to find out the reason. I became Lord Dai. At this time, a childish voice came from Dai's body. and then he calmed down and sat down as he had been told before. However, he still looked left and right, exploring the body of Lord Dai Dai whom he admired. Blackbeard Teach's fat body also opened its eyes. Dai Dai's consciousness directly took over the body, and the two children's consciousnesses lurked in the body, seeming to be able to observe the outside world. Luo. Poison Q. Detoxify this body. I can't move now. Dai Dai's voice came out of Blackbeard Teach's mouth, and his tone was very tired. It seemed that the toxins in this body had affected his consciousness. Yes, Captain. Luo and Poison Q immediately detoxified the body and restored Dai Dai's mobility. Damn it. You bastard Dai Dai, give me your body back. Teach number 1 waved his small fists and was about to rush over, but this weak body of 3 or 4 years old could not use any hockey or tricks at all. Nakan, a doctor of traditional Chinese medicine on the side, tied up these 3 kids in a few seconds and threw them aside. As the toxin was removed, Dai Dai controlled Blackbeard Teach's body to stand up, and billowing dark matter immediately emerged from his body. Is this the power of dark fruit? Dai Dai's control of dark fruit is tens of thousands of times stronger than Weipal's control, and he can use several powerful dark fruit moves right away. It would be great if dark fruit's ability could be integrated into my body. Dai Dai said softly. This sentence made Du Qiu's eyes light up, and Luo also raised his brows, seeming to be considering the feasibility of the matter, but the 3 Teach consciousnesses felt fear. Dai Dai. Give your body back to us, we are really willing to surrender to you for the rest of our lives. Teach number 1 yelled in panic, he didn't want to be deprived of devil fruit's abilities, let alone die like this. Teach, tell me, how do you use dark fruit to deprive other devil fruit of their abilities? Dai Dai asked casually. The dark aura on his body became more and more powerful, lingering around Dai Dai's body. How did you know this secret? Teach No 2 Feet's tone was still a little calm. She couldn't believe that the dark fruit and family secrets that the 3 brothers and sisters had been planning for so many years were revealed to Dai Dai like this. I said, I know everything you know, and I also know the secrets you don't know. Dai Dai smiled lightly, and the smoky dark substance in his hand became more and more ominous. Suddenly, Dai Dai seemed to have discovered some secret. Bring the stick fruit ability user Smecta among the prisoners of the Thief Leader Association. Laozi wants to try it himself and deprive him of the devil fruit ability. Dai Dai looked at the dark substance in his hand, his eyes full of excitement. If he succeeded, Thunder Fruit, Lion Fruit, Fortified City Fruit. None of them would be able to escape. Inside the Seastone prison of the Gulosiadi, Golden Lion Shiki, Sand Crocodile, Thor Enel, Gangster Capone Beeg, these demon fruit powers, looked at a middle-parted man with yellow hair and pink face, being dragged away directly by the devil Sheriff Lafitte with a joking smile. Axie. Why me? I'm just a weakling, I have half an appendix. Captain Shiki, save me. No, Lord Lafitte, I truly surrender. From now on, I will be a slave of the Big Daddy Pirates, and I will no longer dare to pretend to be aloof. In fact, I have long admired the Big Daddy Pirates. I can't wait to leave Golden Lion Shiki's Sky Pirates. Please let me join you. The stick fruit user was begging for mercy while crying his eyes out. The rest of his body seemed as soft as a slug as he was carried away by Lafitte. Shiki, the garbage you collect is disgusting. Croc Darzi looked at the stick fruit user with disgust. He pursued the concept of conquering the world by himself, and his subordinates were all tool men. But the tool man must also have some backbone and character, otherwise he will still look down upon him. Humph. These garbage are just random waste. However, where can you go? I heard that all of your men have joined Dai Digui's pirate group. Golden Lion Shiki is also very unhappy now. Whether it's the stick fruit user's rebellion and begging for mercy, or the sand crocodile's taunt, they all make him very angry. HMPH. Croc Dowsey turned around with a cold expression and fell silent with a gloomy look on his face. And Capone Beeg seemed to feel that death was coming. After the stick fruit user was taken away, he felt that he was not far away. He couldn't understand why Dai Dai refused to accept his surrender, which made him extremely unwilling and frightened. He really didn't want to die here silently. Gulo Sayadi's science laboratory. The user with the stick fruit ability looked frightened and was brought up by Lafitte. Captain, I am very much looking forward to your experiment. Lafitte's eyes were filled with enthusiasm. He knew that this attempt was related to the future plans of the Big Daddy Pirates. Nami, Badgers, Van Oka and other crew members were very excited to plunder Devil Fruit's abilities, which was an idea they had never thought of before. If successful, will they still lack top-level Devil Fruit abilities in the future? After all, there are a lot of top-notch demon fruit powers in Seastone Prison, waiting for them to choose. Captain Dai Dai captured so many demon fruit powers but refused to give them to Marine. It turned out to be this reason. Now they found out that eating devil fruit later can still take advantage of this huge advantage. Thinking of this, Nami and Badgers already grinned widely. And Trafalgar Law seems to have seen the birth and rise of a superpower. If the experiment succeeds, it will be almost certain that the Big Daddy Pirates will become the 4 Emperor's Pirates, and even the possibility of becoming the Pirate King will skyrocket. While all the crew members were looking forward to it, Dai Dai was carefully studying the dozen versions of devil fruit illustrations he had collected. These devil fruits are in the shape of 8 gates, and come in various fruit shapes. According to records, devil fruit looks almost the same every time he is reborn. This is also the reason why the devil fruit illustrated book can exist. After all, if the devil fruit looks different every time it is reborn, there is no need for the devil fruit illustrated book to exist. Does this mean that these devil fruit abilities can only be randomly reborn in specific fruit types? Among the known reborn devil fruits, Dai Dai has only seen the zone salamander fruit that Guy spread, which was transformed from an apple. Most of the artificial zone devil fruits are apple-shaped. The devil fruit ability may really require a specific type of fruit to be reborn. Dai Dai looked at the devil fruit illustrated book and thought deeply. Dai Dai remembered that Blackbeard Teach personally said that he clearly remembered every devil fruit appearance in the devil fruit illustrated book. This may also be a dark explanation. In addition to dark fruit's black hole gravity, it is also necessary to find the type of fruit corresponding to devil fruit's ability in order to regenerate devil fruit on the spot. Dai Dai doesn't believe that just finding an apple will regenerate any devil fruit ability. At least, he would not believe that Zone the Giraffe devil fruit would be reborn on top of an apple, and then turn into a row of bananas, or even a banana-shaped devil fruit that could be peeled. In the original book, when the fighting champion Badgers went to dress Rosa to snatch the Mera Mera fruit, he also brought a bag of fruit, as if he was going to hunt Straw Hat Luffy and seize the rubber fruit. Blackbeard Teach has seen the entire devil fruit illustrated book. He must know the shape of the rubber fruit, but I don't know if he has ever gotten the secret of the Nika fruit. After all, he is also a member of the D family. The inheritance of his family may be more complete than that of the Gore D family and the Monkey D family, and he may have a little information. Some of the rare devil fruit abilities are that their devil fruits are all strangely shaped, and the special fruit types that need to be parasitized are also very rare. This may allow the devil fruit ability to search for specific fruit types that are reborn around the world after the death of the previous host. This also resulted in some devil fruit, the strange phenomenon of randomly regenerating around the world. If you find the type of fruit that can be reborn exclusively with the devil fruit ability, then the possibility of inducing the devil fruit ability to regenerate nearby will become greater. In Alabasta, the abilities of the 2 patron saints, Zone's jackal fruit and falcon fruit, seem to have been passed down in this country for hundreds of years. Every time devil fruit is reborn, it is almost always in their country and passed down from generation to generation. There may be other specific conditions, or it may be a matter of luck and probability. It shouldn't be that simple anyway, otherwise the world government would have already recycled all kinds of devil fruit. Dai folded the devil fruit illustrated book and ordered people to bring all the prepared fruits up. Especially fruits like cucumbers and cucumbers that are very similar to the Paramecia devil fruit. Dai Dai feels that this should greatly increase the success rate of devil fruit's ability to regenerate. Seeing Dai Dai's actions, the 3 Teach consciousnesses had their eyes widened. They did not expect that Dai Dai really knew the secret of plundering devil fruit's ability. They couldn't believe that someone else would know this secret that had been lost for hundreds or thousands of years. You guys look so shocked. It's so cute. Dai Dai controlled Blackbeard Teach's body and walked towards the 3 children with Teach consciousness, with a satisfied smile on his face. He seems to have successfully guessed part of the secret behind devil fruit's ability to regenerate. In front of everyone's eyes, countless dark substances emerged from the body of Blackbeard Teach controlled by Dai Dai, covering the stick fruit user like a puddle of mud. At the same time, various fruits were covered in it, forming a large dark ball. Why? Why would this bastard use this ability? Teach number 1 shouted in panic that after he obtained the dark fruit ability, it would take some time to develop it before he could master it. He didn't expect that Dai Dai would be able to use these abilities just after controlling his body. Could it be that Dai Dai knew dark fruit better than he did? Ha ha ha. I wonder which devil fruit ability Captain Dai Dai is going to give me. Fighting champion Badgers is already looking forward to it. Mera Mera fruit, Sand fruit, lion fruit. He really wants them all. As for thunder fruit, don't think about it, because it has already been reserved by Nami, the woman who wears it. This girl also has a chance to become a powerful female Thor. Nami's face was a little flushed with excitement. In this case, she would become the strongest woman among Dai Dai's beauties in one fell swoop. Even more powerful than Sister Robin, the bounty will exceed 100 million or even 500 million by then. Moreover, Nami has already started studying thunder and lightning. She is very interested in various thunderclouds in the climate. Then she can develop thunder fruit based on the climate. Dai Dai also often helps Nami understand the nature and various applications of thunder and lightning, and has long been prepared to obtain thunder fruit. Van Oka's eyes moved slightly, and he didn't need to think about the slow fruit, because Foxy had already joined the Big Daddy Pirates, and the teleport fruit didn't know where in the new world it was. What he is currently eyeing is Golden Lion Shiki's lion fruit ability. Not only can he fly, but if you look at the ability development of this legendary pirate, you will know how powerful this devil fruit ability is. Now it's time to see if Captain Dai Dui can hand over the lion fruit to him. Anyway, he will definitely not refuse this top-level lion fruit ability. As for the teleportation fruit, please step aside. How can that ability compare to lion fruit's ability? Trafalgar Law also knew who was imprisoned in the Seastone prison of the Big Daddy Pirates, so he became more and more convinced that Dai Dai could destroy Doflamingo. With the stick fruit ability user screaming, only a few dozen seconds passed, and the dark space began to slowly dissipate, and Blackbeard, controlled by Dai Dai, had a cucumber-shaped devil fruit similar to the stick in his hand. Success. Long live the captain. It really worked. The Big Daddy Pirates are invincible. Captain Dai Dai, I love you so much. The crew members of the Big Daddy Pirates shouted excitedly, and every crew member was excited. The era of Dai Dai is coming. Each of them will become a legendary pirate. Gia haha. Dai Dai's wild laughter came from Blackbeard Teach's mouth. He succeeded. At this moment, Dai Dai was both excited and full of greed. He suddenly really wanted to get the body of this third soul. After trying the power of dark fruit, Dai Dai has become somewhat addicted to this ability. Memory Seahorse. Eating all three guys' memories, not a single bit is left. Dai Dai said to the waving Memory Seahorse that he was going to make Blackbeard Teach into a 3-fruit clone that Dai Dai could control at any time. Hey! Memory Seahorse flew quickly to the 3-tied children, with a little red light in his eyes. No. Captain Dai Dai, no. I am willing to be your subordinate for the rest of my life, never erase us. Not only the arrogant Teach number 1 was shouting, but also the wise second-generation Teach. They finally realized the horror of Dai Dai, and every step of his calculation could make them fall into the abyss. Hurry up. Dai Dai's cold voice came out from Blackbeard Teach's body, frightening the memory hippocampus, and quickly began to devour the memory of Teach's consciousness. Wapple, Luo, change the shape of this body to look like mine. Dai Dai's voice came out again. He felt that Blackbeard Teach's appearance was indeed a bit incoordinated, with small arms and legs, and a big belly. Understood. X2 Munch Munch Fruit. Wapple said in a cold sweat that although he couldn't use dark fruit's ability, he was still good at transforming objects in lives. As Wapple opened his big mouth and swallowed Blackbeard Teach into the fusion factory, a 3-meter 5-meter rough version of Dai Dai appeared in front of everyone. Then Trafalgar Law made adjustments and then entered the Tuntun factory for modification. After 3 or 4 rounds of modification by 2 people, the plus version of Deity transformed from Blackbeard Teach is finally here. Except that the height is more than 1 meter higher than the 226 centimeters Dai Dai body, there is not much difference in appearance. Captain, do you want to use this body in the future? Trafalgar Law said hesitantly that he felt that Dai Dai would not be used often. After all, the ownership of this mind consciousness conversion was in Luo's hands. He can use Op fruit to convert these spiritual consciousnesses back at any time. With the character of Captain Dai Dui, he may not be so comfortable with it. It's just a spare. I will exchange it for them when they get the devil fruit ability. Dai Dai said calmly. Although Blackbeard Teach's body has the dark fruit ability, he still feels more comfortable in his own body. Long live the captain. The most excited badgers immediately shouted. He was thinking about the devil fruit ability now. Which one of Logia's Mera Mera fruit or San fruit should he want? If it is Mera Mera fruit, it may take a long time to wait, because Fire Fist Ace may have to be handed over to Naval Headquarters to complete a big plan of Captain Dai Dai. Let's go. Go to Seastone Prison and get the Thunder Fruit and Lion Fruit. The dark aura lingered around Dark Dai Duo, and he threw the Paramecia stick fruit in his hand to Robin and asked her to keep it. The Zone Giraffe fruit and Paramecia bubble fruit that were exchanged in the CP9 organization are now in her hands. Go, go, go. Nami also shouted excitedly, following the darkness towards Seastone Prison. In the laboratory, the 3-tied children had completely lost their memory and looked like dementia. The Memory Seahorse looked satisfied, as if it had eaten 3 very good meals. Inside Seastone Prison, dense footsteps began to appear, which gave the prisoners inside a bad idea. Is this kid die coming to kill us? Golden Lion Shaki, who has a coxcomb on his head, has recovered a lot of physical functions now that he no longer has that fatal rudder, but due to his age, it is impossible for him to return to his peak. However, his haki has recovered a lot. Under the binding of Seastone, he can still use a little bit of observation haki. At this moment, sensing the menacing Big Daddy pirates, he had noticed some malicious intentions, which was obviously not a good thing.